back at it again, man. Listen, we got a lot going on tonight. We're going to be talking about the Jets. I'm going to be showing you or having you folks listen to an interview I did with Antoine Staley, which was phenomenal. We're also going to be talking about the Jets draft. We're going to be talking about Colin Cowherd, something crazy he said about the Jets as well. Call in 515-602-9639. That is the number. Give me 1 second, folks. We're going to connect the audio. Hold on. Well, we're having an issue with Blog Talk here, folks. No worries. Okay. We're going to continue on with the show. I apologize for those of you that wanted to call in. But we're going to continue on and talk about what's going on with Colin Cowherd. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. I see y'all. Okay. We're going to come to y'all. Put your thoughts, put your questions, put all of that in the chat. Okay. I apologize again to the callers that want to call in. Blog Talk is tripping yet again. Listen. Let me start the show. I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth and folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. Okay? I am also, all right, on iTunes as well. Go on over to iTunes. Okay? Go on over to iTunes. All right. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets, okay, on iTunes. Excuse me, the Long Beach Joe Show on iTunes. And subscribe to the podcast there. Okay. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a 5-star rating. Okay. Leave me some feedback as well. I want to thank everybody that does that. Okay. I want to thank everybody that does that. All right. Again, I apologize for those of you savages tonight. Blog Talk is tripping. Okay, Blog Talk is tripping. So the lines are jacked up. I apologize. But we're going to continue on. Put your thoughts in the chat. Okay, I will come to the savages. Salutes. Outlaw, I see you. Says what's going on with the phone. That's what's going on. I apologize. All right, that's Blog Talk is tripping. But we're going to continue on again. Twitter, okay, at The Long Beach Joe. At The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Follow me. I'll follow you right back. Let's go back and forth and have that discussion, okay? And for those of you that may not be in the know, clearly you're in the know now because, hey, you're here on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you will be in the know, okay? Please do that. And when you hit that notification bell, press all, okay? And also give the stream a thumbs up. Give the content, the videos and all that stuff a thumbs up. And again, salutes to all the savages in the chat, okay? Again, I apologize, y'all. The Blog Talk is jacked up, so the phone lines are off tonight. But, you know, we're still here. We're still talking and listening. So, sat down with Antoine Staley recently. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, Jets tonight, of course. But I want to start off with the Antoine Staley interview that I was able to record for you folks, man. What an interview. He sat down and he gave me some of his time. We talked about the New York Jets. We talked about the draft coming up as well. And I want to let you folks hear it. So Here's Antoine Staley, pre-recorded interview, and I'm going to let you guys give it a listen. It's a quick interview, and then we'll get to everything that's going on, especially the comments by Colin Cowherd. So here's the interview, folks. What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and boy, oh boy, do we have a special interview today. We're going to have so much fun here. Listen, this guest that I'm having coming on is a guy that I personally believe, everyone has their own ideas about how the Jets are being covered. I personally believe that he is the best New York Jets beat writer that there is on the beat. Okay? You can feel how you want to feel, but I said what I said. This man knows what he's talking about. He's up to date. He knows everything that's going on with this football team, and I absolutely love talking to him. So without further ado, I present to you, folks that are listening, Antoine Staley, New York Daily Jets beat reporter. Antoine, welcome to the Long Beach Joe Show. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm all right. I'm doing good. How you doing? The way to gas me up there, but I definitely appreciate a good compliment. Although I don't necessarily believe it myself, but I'll take whatever compliment I can get.
Listen,
I'm humble.
It is what it
like
is.
I'm humble. So
listen, like I told him, I said what I said. Okay, I've been watching you for a long time. You were covering other teams before you came over here and started covering the Jets. And I appreciate your coverage of the team. You know what I'm saying? So as we start up, Antoine, you've really been doing your thing. You know what's going on with the team. And I got to start here, man. What are your thoughts on Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh at this point?
I think they're, both they both need to win. Joe Douglas has been with the team since 2019. I know he came into a really bad situation where they already had a coach in Adam Gase, and it wasn't the coach that he handpicked. So I don't necessarily blame him for, that or what happened. But, and then, he did pick Robert Saleh to come in 2021. And, neither one has had a winning season as of yet. And I think it's a critical year for both of these guys. And, I know Joe Douglas put together a, all-star 2022 draft class. And, I know Saleh has put together, help put together a really good defense along with Jeff Albert. But at the same time, you got to start winning games, and it's a result-based business. And if they don't win this year, then I definitely think, it could be, wholesale changes, not only, with Saleh and the coaches, also potentially Joe Douglas and the front office too as well. So it's definitely a critical year for everybody involved.
Yes, it absolutely is. And you brought up a great point there. There's been a lot of things, rumors swirling and floating around that, hey, if the Jets don't get it done, if this regime doesn't find some way to, finish big this year, that they could be on their way out of the door. And it's great that you brought up Albridge and Saleh and the things that they've done with this defense. But one of the things that's really been struggling is the offense, as we saw last season. A lot of issues. What are your thoughts about Nathaniel Hackett and all the controversy surrounding him and the offensive struggles?
Last year, you don't have Aaron Rodgers. I think, of course, the offense was going to struggle a little bit, especially when you had Zach Wilson there. I think some of it is to blame. He is part of the blame for what kind of happened last year. But, you look at the Jets offense the year before that when Mike LaFleur was there too. I definitely think, Zach Wilson is also the source of some of those issues too as well. You look at Hackett, and I don't think he did a good job at, adjusting personnel and knowing what the strengths and the weaknesses of a lot of the players were. I think that does fall on him. But I also think, whenever they brought Zach Wilson back and, as the backup quarterback, there was a possibility he could potentially start a game or two or, ended up being, more than I think a lot of people expected, obviously. But, yeah, you obviously knew it was going to be some struggles there once Aaron Rodgers went down. So I think he's part of the blame there. I think he definitely deserves some heat there. But, you have to hope that Aaron Rodgers coming back and hopefully, you can hope he stays healthy. He can overcome some of the shortcomings that Hackett has.
Yeah. Now, when you're speaking about Aaron Rodgers, listen, he's coming back, like you said, as well off that Achilles injury. What is your expectation for him next season?
I don't know if they'll have one. I know it's crazy to say that, but he's 40 years old coming off an Achilles injury. I don't know if you can expect expect him to go out and be 2021 Aaron Rodgers once again. Maybe he does get to that point again. I don't know, but also, we haven't seen him play since 2022, really, other than those 4 snaps last year and some preseason work. And then the last time we really saw him play some meaningful games in 2022, a lot of people thought he had lost a little bit of luster on his fastball. They thought he didn't have the year that I think a lot of people expected in his final year in Green Bay. So I think what you want to do is with the Jets is just be able to run the football effectively. They've addressed some needs in the offensive line too by acquiring Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses and obviously John Simpson, and go along with AVT and also Joe Tippin. So you have that. I think they're going to have more of a power running game there, and it's going to take some pressure over Aaron Rodgers. So you don't need him to be MVP type Aaron Rodgers. You just need him not to make mistakes there, take care of the football, and throw the ball where it needs to be. And if he can do that, especially with the defense that they have, then I think the Jets could be potentially in good shape and be a contender in the AFC. But I don't know as far as numbers and things like that. I don't necessarily have any expectations with him because I don't know if we know where he's going to be at this point, especially considering his age and the injury that he's coming off of.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. As long as Aaron takes care of the ball and the Jets are running the football consistently, solidly, moving the chains that way, I think that sets them up in a great position, especially like you said as well with the defense that the Jets have, which has been dominant for so long. If they just had that last season, who's telling? Who knows where the Jets could have been, but that season is that, especially when you lost Aaron early. Now, one of the things that we saw last season as well that was a big hindrance was the backup quarterback position. Even the owner, Woody Johnson, when he was asked about the backup quarterback position recently this offseason, he told the media, we didn't even have a backup quarterback. Well, Joe Douglas went and took care of that. Tyrod Taylor in free agency, who I think is a great addition, veteran quarterback. What are your thoughts about Tyrod Taylor and what he brings to the New York Jets as a backup quarterback here?
I mean, if he can stay healthy, I think he's definitely somebody that has experience and made some starts in the league and has some success too. I mean, if you remember correctly, Tyrod was the quarterback, not Josh Allen, but Tyrod was the quarterback that broke the Bills' long playoff drought in 2017. So we obviously know he can play, and we know he's talented. The question is, can he stay healthy? And I definitely think for that reason, consider his health issues, I think the Jets have to bring in a third quarterback, whoever that might be. So whether it be the draft or free agency, I imagine it's going to be the draft. They draft somebody, see if they can groom them, and see if they can potentially be an option, to start down the line once Aaron Rodgers is done in his career, whether it be a year or two. But I definitely think you got to have 3 quarterbacks on this roster because we've seen the worst case scenario with the Jets the last few years, and you definitely want to plan for that just in case it does happen.
It's interesting that you talk about them drafting another quarterback, Anton, because there's been a lot of talk surrounding Zach Wilson as well, who's still currently on the Jets roster. I know that Joe Douglas and Jets media has also put out as well that they have publicly they're allowing Zach Wilson to seek a trade with his agent. Still, nothing has come to fruition. Woody Johnson recently came out and said that Zach Wilson does need to change the scenery, but called him an asset to the team as well. And literally told the media that, hey, if we can't trade him, then we'll keep him. I mean, what do you think happens with Zach Wilson going forward? Do you think the Jets will end up moving him somewhere? If not, do you think that Woody Johnson, maybe spoke a little bit too soon and the Jets might end up releasing him and eating, I believe it's $11 million in dead cap money? What do you think ends up happening with Zach Wilson at this point?
He also said in the same interview, we're not going to speculate when somebody asked him about potentially holding on to him. So I think it's smoke and mirrors at this point. I don't think obviously they don't want to release him, but I don't think he has a lot of value. And also teams know the Jets have to get rid of him. They're not going to keep him. He's already sold his house. He doesn't want to come back to the Jets. They understand. They know what the situation is. They probably don't really want him to come back either. And we know the off-season program starts in 2 weeks. I imagine he's not gonna be with the team one way or another, whether it be released or they're gonna end up trying to trade him. What I think they should do, if they really want to get rid of him, they're gonna have to attach a draft pick to him and have somebody just take them off their hands, and that way they can free up, the little bit of money that they do get from getting rid of them. Because otherwise, if you don't do that, then as you said, you're going to be looking at a $11 million cap hit, and nobody wants that with the Jets too. So I think that's the best case scenario. Just attach a 27, 26 draft pick with him. Might be a fifth round pick or whatever. And then there's other teams that still need a backup quarterback somewhere or a third string quarterback, just a camp arm, and then just get rid of them. Because like I said before, I don't see any scenario where I think Zach Wilson's going to come back to this team, no matter what Woody Johnson had to say last week in Orlando.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with him going forward. Now, one of the things that you started to discuss was the New York Jets offensive line. That was a big hindrance last season. We saw that literally from week one all the way play out through the season. You brought up some of the acquisitions that Joe Douglas was able to make, and Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses and John Simpson. Give me your thoughts about those improvements to the line. And with those improvements here, do you still think that the Jets are set to take a lineman in the first round of the draft?
I think they should. I mean, they definitely should because, you got Tyron Smith, who has an extensive injury history. He has not played 16 games, at least 16 games in any season since 2015, if I'm correct. So you have to imagine at some point he's not gonna miss game. He's gonna miss a game. Now, last year he did play 13 of the 17 games, which is acceptable, especially considering his injury history there. But the year before that, he only played 4. So I don't know what to expect there. And also the Jets don't have a long-term solution at left tackle. So I definitely think, for me, depending on what the draft board looks like, I don't think they're necessarily paid to take a certain position there in the draft, but I think they would be wise to take an offensive lineman, especially early there. You could get a wide receiver there depending on who's on the board, but also I think it's a very deep wide receiver class where you can go out and get a wide receiver that can help you in the slot in the third round as opposed to in the third round offensive lineman. You're not going to be able to get an offensive lineman that's going to be able to help you potentially this year if something happened to Smith. But to answer your question about the line, it's definitely improved. You can't say it's depends just seeing where it was last year compared to this year and the talent that they accumulated. Yeah, I definitely think, it has improved. But the biggest question is just the injury, especially with Smith. Obviously, Morgan Moses coming off an injury too as well. So, yeah, they definitely have some concerns there on the line.
Now, with you speaking about, the potential of the New York Jets taking an offensive lineman, probably a tackle, right, early number 10, what offensive lineman do you think the Jets will be targeting there at 10? Could you see them maybe grabbing Talisi Fuaga, Olu Fasanu? Who do you think that the Jets realistically are really looking to target?
I think it just, Fasano could be, somebody that they, address if he's available at 10, then I definitely think that would be a good pick for him. If he's not on the board, then maybe you look at wide receiver, maybe you look at Rome Medusa, or a lot of people talk about Bob Bowers too as well. I think that's a potential option too at the tight end, although they don't necessarily need a tight end, but he's definitely one that could, cause some problems for opposing defenses too. I don't know if it's one player they're specifically targeting. I just think that they're just going to let the board play out how it is, and either way you attend, you're going to get a really good player if you're doing your homework and if you pick the right player there. But yeah, I don't know if it's especially this early where you still have like 3 weeks towards the draft. I don't know if it's necessarily one particular player that they have in mind. I think it's several players that they are in love with during the draft.
And so one of the things that I saw as well, and I've been seeing around, is the possibility of the Jets possibly trading down and still taking a lineman. I think you've had some discussion about Armis Mims from Georgia. A lot of people are starting to talk about him. His name is kind of swirling around. What are your thoughts about the Jets moving down and still taking a tackle or an offensive lineman there? And who do you think would be a good selection if the Jets were to move down into that team's range?
I don't think from just talking to people in Orlando, I don't get the sense that's probably going to be the case. But, you never know. It could be a situation where maybe, they like a guy like Fuaga, depending on how far he might drop, or, Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma too as well. So you talk about Aquarius Mims, I definitely think he could potentially be an option too as well. So, yeah, they have their options where they could, if they were to trade down. But, yeah, I don't get the sense just talking with people that's probably going to be an option there. I think they just kind of like where they are at 10 and just kind of they're probably going to stay there.
And again, everyone, we're speaking with Antoine Staley of the New York Daily News, Jets beat reporter, at Antoine Staley on Twitter. Give him a follow. He's a great follow. As we continue to speak about this football team, Antoine, the Jets need a presence at number 2, and you talked about the Jets bringing in Mike Williams. What were your thoughts about him being acquired now, being a New York Jet, and what do you think he brings to that number 2 position?
I mean, I think he's talented. I mean, obviously, had a really good, 2022 season. Somebody that can get the ball up at the highest point and, box out defenders there, and something that they definitely needed too. They was hoping they got from Allen Lazard last year, and he certainly did not. So yeah, I definitely think he'll be a really welcome addition there. Again, they're going to rely on a player that also has an extensive injury history, somebody that's also coming out from an ACL injury. So he may not be ready for the season, although he says he will be, and the Jets are, cautiously optimistic he will be. He certainly won't be ready for OTAs and probably won't be ready to start at training camp. So it's hard to imagine what he is going to bring to them this year, but they hope that, as the season goes on, he can continue to blossom and get healthier and everything like that. And they also have to hope, Allen Lazard can, continue to emerge and bounce back. And I'm not sure that he will, but having Aaron Rodgers there, I think certainly would help him, moving forward compared to what it was last year under Zach Wilson and the other quarterbacks that were playing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of thoughts about the New York Jets also targeting a wide receiver maybe later in the mid-rounds, maybe that third round picking down. You talked a little bit about it earlier, but what are some wide receivers that the Jets could target there that you kind of fancy? Are there some guys you're looking at that you feel would fit the Jets scheme in that, third round and down kind of mix?
If they're going to be there, Ricky Pearsall, I definitely think is a guy that from Florida. I think is a guy they could possibly look at. Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky, if he's there at 3. I mean, in the third round, I'm not sure that he will be at this point. I think a lot of people really like him, but I think those are 2 guys that you could potentially look at, and I think they would do well in the Jet scheme there, and also potentially be the number 2 wide receiver moving forward. Because again, Mike Williams is scheduled to be there only 1 year, so you definitely have to find another long-term solution there, to go opposite Garrett Wilson there, and it's definitely not going to be Allen Lazard because he's probably not going to be on the team after this year either.
Ooh, let me tell you, I remember seeing Robert Saleh get on that podium and literally say, when they was talking to him about Allen Lazard, I believe he finished it with saying that guy has a year and a half left here, and I was stunned because I've never seen
Friday game.
Yeah, I've never seen Robert Saleh speak that way, but you could definitely sense and see the frustration. It was a very rough year last year for Lazard, and I'm hoping that he does bounce back because that would be a great wide receiver to have produced for us finally, especially with how much he's getting paid here. But as we switch over, Antoine, to the defense, what are your thoughts on Bryce Huff? The Jets losing Bryce Huff to the Eagles in free agency and then turning around and making the trade for Hassan Reddick. What are your thoughts about that whole situation?
Losing Huff, I'm not surprised at all. I actually thought that was going to be the case like last October. To be quite honest with you, I didn't really see any path for him to come back. The Jets let him, to get into a walk year, and he had the best season of his career, and, they made the mistake of not signing him earlier, and then he ended up, upping his value, and, the Jets just, they wasn't going to pay what the Eagles ended up giving them. So they were able to get a, premier pass rusher in Hassan Reddick, and then somebody that they hope that continue to have the years that he's had. He has 4 straight years with double-digit sacks there. They hope. I mean, he's played a lot of, as far as percentage on the line, just the snaps that he's played. He probably won't play as much, with the Jets just because they like to rotate a lot of different guys. But I think that could also help him be fresh for later on in the games too. And you add him with, Quentin Williams and the year Jermaine had last year, and you hope that Will McDonald can emerge too, and somebody that Reddick could, have some, big influence there. I mean, it could be, one of those situations where, it's never a bad thing to have as many pass rushers as the Jets have. So, yeah, I definitely think he could have a tremendous year for him, and I definitely think it was a big move there. If you have to lose Huff, then getting a guy like Reddick, I definitely think is a good move for him.
Yeah. And once that trade for Reddick was made, there was a lot of people, a lot of Jets fans speaking about how maybe this is kind of a slight towards Will McDonald. Maybe this says that the Jets don't trust Will McDonald to be that guy or take that big step next season, especially with a lot of the big expectations. I personally don't believe that, but do you? Are you more of that idea as well, that the Jets made the move because they not necessarily all the way sold on Will McDonald making that jump next season?
No, I think they made the move because they have to win, and they're trying to do everything it takes to win. And Will McDonald, he may turn out to be a fine player, but if the Jets don't win, then they're not going to see how good he's going to. Well, the Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas specifically are not going to see how good he might be, because somebody else might be coaching him and somebody else might be the general manager next year. So you're going to a year where it's critical. So you need, and to be able to pick up a guy like Hassan Reddick, who again is proven and can be a welcome addition there. Yeah, I definitely think it was a no-brainer for him. So I don't think it has much to do about Will McDonald. I still think he could potentially have a really fine career, and maybe it gets bounce back year like Jermaine Johnson did last year. But they need to have a proven pass rusher, especially when you lose a guy like Bryce Huff, who was your leading sack guy a year ago with 10.
Yeah, I'm absolutely of that same mindset. I look at the situation and I say to myself, having a three-headed monster, especially like you said as well, that we all know this regime needs to win. And so to win, you're going through a litany of quarterbacks in the AFC, from your Joe Burrows to your Herberts to your Lamar Jacksons. The list goes on, and we all know the king Patrick Mahomes right now. If you're trying to win a Super Bowl, it goes through Kansas City. You need as many people chasing him as possible. And I believe that Will McDonald, has it. I think he's a guy that can put some things together and really, get on and have a good season. But you still need that three-headed monster. And that's why I was so hurt to watch Huff walk out the door. But you spoke some great points there as to why, the Jets actually lost him. But it's great to see Reddick in this building. And I think that mix, those three guys, like you said, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, and Reddick, are really going to wreak havoc for us next season. Now, as we continue to go on and talk about this defense, Antoine, a lot of people look at the safety position, and they're looking at that as the weakness of the New York Jets defense. What are your thoughts about that situation, and could you see them maybe going after another free agent to kind of shore up some issues? A lot of people speaking about Justin Simmons. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, it's definitely the weakness. I mean, you look at, obviously the front line, I definitely think it's their own. You got Quincy and, CJ there at the linebacking core there. Jamie Sherwood, well, we'll see what he looks like. Garrett starting another year, getting some playing time too as well at times. And then, obviously we know what the cornerback room looks like, and, DJ and Sauce, and obviously Michael Carter II, who's in the final year of his deal. So, but yeah. You got Chuck Clark coming off a, ACL injury there. I mean, we got Tony Adams, who, showed some flashes last year, but still young in his career. But, yeah, it's definitely by far the weakness. Now, I mean, all teams are going to have weaknesses on their team. It's just a matter of, can you minimize those weaknesses? And, I think the Jets, hopefully, with the pass rushers that they have and the rest of their defense, they can potentially do that and help out those guys back there at the safety position. Because otherwise, yeah, I definitely kind of saw. I think you kind of saw it last year where teams were kind of, picking on the safeties in the middle of the field with tight ends and stuff like that. And especially you look at the game like it's the Cleveland Browns with David Njoku and what he was able to do, just pretty much torturing the Jets secondary there with the way he was playing. So yeah, I definitely think as of right now, yeah, it's definitely a weakness for sure.
Now, one of the spots on the team that used to be a weakness that is now a strength is kicker and punter. I remember the New York Jets were struggling trying to find a kicker to come in here and be consistent. And now Greg Zuerlein again being re-signed, Thomas Morstead as well being brought back into the building. Can you speak to the importance of the Jets now having that kicker position and that punting position solidified by these two really solid players?
I mean, yeah, you have a punter and a kicker like those two guys that have been especially the last year, and then Zuerlein in 2022, you don't have to worry about it. Nobody really worries about the kicker and the punter unless they're not doing their job. You got two guys that, they're veterans that know how to do their job, that are professionals, and been doing it for a long time at a high level. So, yeah, I mean, anytime you're not worried. And it also, when you got a guy like Thomas Morstead, I think we saw that last year where he was pinning opponents back, and the Jets defense was able to, get, register 3 safeties, which led to the NFL in that category last year. So, yeah, having a guy like that can, flip field position is huge. And, we also saw it in the Washington Commanders game with Zerline. Ended up winning the game there at the end, although it shouldn't have been as close as what it was because, the Jets blew the lead. But whenever you have a guy like that in the clutch that can, get kicks like that, then, yeah, you feel a lot more confident about your team.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there were games. There's literally that Commanders game. Zerline literally won that for us. So, and being a Jets fan for so long, I remember watching, especially after we lost a really solid kicker. We had been struggling for so long, just biting your nails when our kicker would go out there, hoping that he would hit the field goal or sometimes even hit the extra point. We were wondering. And again, like you said as well, the Morstead's punting was phenomenal last season. It was phenomenal. And he really helped the New York Jets, like you said, pinning teams back and really allowing this Jets defense to just take the heads off of these opposing offenses. They were struggling to try to get some solid field position. So with all that said, Antoine, my final question before I let you, we're looking at the situation now. We're, a ways away from the Jets draft. What is your final prediction for the Jets pick in the first round? Who do you think they end up taking?
I don't know if I have a final prediction because anything can happen. But if you're forcing me to make a pick right now, who I would pick and who they pick would probably be 2 different answers. Who they pick is probably going to be, I would say, a guy like Bob Bowers, who is going to have some influence on the offense and have Aaron Rodgers there. Who I would pick, I would go with the offensive lineman because, again, like I spoke about earlier, because Tyron Smith has had his, extensive injury history, and you can't rely on him. So you need to have a plan B just in case something worse would happen. And we've seen the worst-case scenario with the Jets offensive line the last 2 years. If you don't have a plan in place, then you're going to be screwed. So, and you don't want, replay of what happened in 2022 and definitely, last year where you end up having so many different offensive line combinations and, 17 games. So you need to plan for when Tyron Smith gets hurt because more likely it's probably going to happen.
Yeah. Listen, I'm right there with you. I'm looking offensive line. I would like to get a tackle in the building. Like you said as well, the injury history with Tyron. And also going forward, both of those guys are on 1-year deals, more than most on the last year of his deal, and you got Tyron on a 1-year deal. Like something's got to happen next year. You're still going to need to protect your quarterback going forward. So for me, tackle is something I would grab as well. Antoine, before I let you go, can you let my audience know every single way that they can reach you and get to your content? Like I said, I think you're the best. I know, I said what I said. I'm sticking to it. I think you do an amazing job covering the team. Can you let my audience know where they can find you, where they can find your content, and how they can get involved with you and talk to you?
Just Antoine Staley across the board, all social media platforms, and you can find my work at the New York Daily News. It's that simple. So, nothing, crazy, anything like that. Just, my name, Antoine and Staley, all together. So, that's the easiest place to find me.
Listen, Antoine, thank you so much. Really enjoyed speaking with you. You have yourself a good night, my friend.
You take care.
Listen, folks, wasn't that enlightening? Wasn't that amazing to sit back and listen to Antoine Staley, again, NY Daily Jets beat reporter, who I said it. I think he's the best. He's great at covering his football team, and he gave us a lot of really good tidbits, right? Talked about the needs along the New York Jets offensive line being filled with, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses being brought into the building, right? John Simpson as well, but them still needing to flesh out the depth being an important part of continuing to build this football team because, as we know, Tyron Smith, long injury history. I don't think he's been fully healthy since 2015 for a full season, right? And more than likely, he's going to go down. So you got to wonder who's going to be the person that's going to be behind him that's going to step up if he does go down. You're going to have to ask. Those are questions the New York Jets are going to have to ask when they come up in this draft. He also talked about something as well. And as you folks saw the title, okay, of the stream. Again, everyone knows I'm more along the lines of the offensive line. You folks heard that in the interview. I would like to see the Jets draft a lineman. But I've been having a lot of discussions with Jets fans going back and forth, and many of them are saying, Joe, listen, I get it, but I want to talk about taking a wide receiver. I want another weapon. And so I started to think, okay? I'm started to think like, hey, what is the possibility that the Jets would take a wide receiver, especially when you look at the Jets wide receiver position currently? And this is something that Antoine Staley spoke about as well. We got Garrett Wilson, who's been phenomenal, right? He's great. But then you start to wonder, who else is really going to make a play, right? You got Mike Williams, who we just signed, who we think is great, right? We think he's great. But he's not going to be ready until week 1. He said it himself recently. Then you got to wonder, is he going to be able to really ramp up pretty much going into the season and give us really great production in his first year? Then you got to wonder, after him, can you trust Allen Lazard? I don't know about that. Okay? He ain't looking like he looked terrible. He looked terrible last year. And then you got guys like Xavier Gibson, Brownlee, two, undrafted guys. You start to say to yourself, if, let's say, the board is looking like Alt's gone, Fuaga's gone, Olu is gone, how do you pass up on a guy like Rome Odunze if he falls into your lap at 10? How do you do that? I want to get y'all thoughts on that. Again, y'all know where I stand, but tonight I want to explore that discussion. I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate as well, okay, on that tonight. And again, we will be taking calls. I'm going to use a Google Voice. So we're going to see if this works. Again, work with me, people. Blog Talk is on that nonsense. I saw y'all in the comments, okay? Salutes to all the savages. Y'all let it be known, okay? The English lady shut y'all down. They tripping, okay? But we're still going to try to take these calls, so work with me. We're going to continue to do that, and we're going to continue to cover topics about the New York Jets here. I will let y'all know the number to the show that you can call in just a second, okay? And again, we're taking calls. This is a new way, so work with me tonight. Also, okay, before we get to the lines really quickly, okay, I'm going to put the number in the chat, and then we'll get to you guys in just a second. Yo, Colin Cowherd is wilding. Okay, Colin Cowherd is wilding really, really quickly. Yo, Colin Cowherd recently, okay, sitting on his podcast, goes on to say that he believes that the New York Jets are not going to win 9 games this year and they're going to miss the playoffs. He also had some things to say about Aaron Rodgers as well. And I'm going to let you folks hear this, okay, really quickly. Listen to this.
I also think Aaron isn't quite as committed as a lot of the young guys that are really bigger, stronger. And I think the only way to be good is sort of to be focused like Kirk Cousins later or obsessed like Brady. I don't think there's a way to be casually. And Aaron, I've heard this from multiple people. Aaron, he's not going to sit and watch game film all weekend. That's not what he's going to do as a personality. He's going to read some things and listen to music and do his own thing. He is not Brady on the film. He's not Peyton. He's not Breeze as a workaholic. Aaron is one of those guys. It's almost like,
because he had more physical capability than those guys.
It's like a rock star. The Bonos and the bands, Edges that have survived didn't have long periods of drug use. Like they took care of their body. They partied, but they have aged very well. The bands that haven't. Like, I think Aaron didn't quite take the same level of care, and I think he's aging faster than other guys.
Wow. That was directly from Colin Cowherd, okay? He said that. I'm going to put this number into the chat. Here's the number that you can call into the show from, all right? Here's the number that you can call into the show, okay? We're going to be taking calls tonight. We're going to be talking that talk tonight, all right? Listen, Colin Cowherd is tripping, okay? Listen here. Aaron Rodgers, okay? Aaron Rodgers, you know what is blowing my mind about what he had to say? What's blowing my mind is the fact that Aaron Rodgers, from day one that he stepped in here, has done nothing but, hold on a second. We're getting our first call. Hold Hold on. We're getting our first
Call
call.
from
Tents and stuff.
To
Okay.
accept, press 1.
Yes.
To send a voicemail, press 2.
Yes, we are. Okay. Listen. Hello, Tins, can you hear me? Let's see if we
I'm
can.
here, Lord. I'm here, Joe.
Okay, can you hear me? So everything's good. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Ready to go when you're ready.
hold on just a second. Let me finish this with Colin Cowherd.
Go ahead. Is this your home phone, Joe?
No, it's not. No, it's not. But
Okay.
this is what we using. This is what we using tonight
Okay.
because Blog
Glory,
Talk
Joe.
is tripping, but they're not gonna stop us. Okay. So the audience, I know y'all can hear him. I can hear him. Okay. So everything should be good. Here's the deal. Okay. This is insanity to me from Colin Cowherd, right? This is insanity, okay? Because here's the deal. From day one, Aaron Rodgers has walked into this building and done nothing but try to prepare this football team to win. He's made it very clear what he wants to do here. Saying that he doesn't watch film and he's very laissez-faire how do you do that and become a Hall of Famer? How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you kind of like not study and not do things and not prepare yourself properly and become a Hall of Famer? When Aaron Rodgers got signed by the New York Jets, the first thing he did was go to all of the voluntary stuff, all of it, all the voluntary practices. And he literally brought out all the boys to the voluntary practices as well. He was out there working, preparing, getting everything ready. Again, callers, we'll get to you in a second, but y'all got to hold on. This thing, once the line is full with one person, but believe me, we're going to move through the calls and I'm going to open up the lines, but just 1 second. We got one person on line, but we will get to everybody tonight. Trust me. Okay. The second that he got here, that's all he did. Okay. All of the voluntary stuff, he was at all of it. You know, what's crazy. Guys like CJ Uzomah, veteran tight end, when he was here, he sat down with the media and said, listen, we're out there with Aaron Rodgers every single day on the practice field. And when we come back, we watch film. And he's teaching me things along with the other offensive coordinators, along with the offensive coordinator I've never learned in my entire time in the NFL. There's things that I'm learning that's new. Does anybody remember when we were doing practices, when things were going wrong, he would stop the practice and then restart it again? He would stop the practice, let people know what they did wrong on the play, and then restart the play again and run it over and over again. He was doing that. So now we're sitting here saying that he's not – he's just laissez-faire and he just doesn't watch and he's not prepared and he's not preparing his body. Are you serious? He's not prepared. Aaron Rodgers is not making sure that his body's good. Does anybody remember the diet that he said that he went on where he completely changed his diet? He stopped eating stuff like bananas and all that other stuff, stopped with the inflammation. When he ruptured his Achilles, the first thing he did was immediately go get a surgery, started and got back on the road surgery. They were talking about how fast that he was healing from that situation. He was running to get back onto the field with the New York Jets. We were all scared that he was going to get back on the field before the end of the season, which could have been a possibility. The Jets front office came out and talked about how they had to stop that and shut that down. The man was chomping at the bit to get back on this field. As a matter of fact, towards the end of the season, he was on the practice squad cooking people live and talking trash to the defense as he was dropping back and making throws. They were talking about that as the season was ending, and we could all see that. So this idea that Aaron Rodgers is just laissez-faire and he's whatever now is crazy. Listen here, okay? Colin Cowherd is – and I like Colin Cowherd. I want to be clear about that, okay? I want to be clear about that. I really, really like Colin Cowherd, and I think he's a cool person, okay? Here's the deal. Colin Cowherd was the same guy that told us that Adam Gase and Sam Darnold were going to take the Jets to the promised land. He told us that. Colin Cowherd has said a lot of things about the New York Jets that have been completely wrong and false, okay? But this take right here, bruh, is just insane. This doesn't make any sense. How could a healthy Aaron Rodgers, right? How could a fully healthy Aaron Rodgers win less than 9 games for the New York Jets? This is mind-blowing, especially with the defense that the New York Jets have. This is insanity, pure insanity. Come on, folks. Like, we got to get it together. Okay? Aaron Rodgers does not have to be Peyton Manning. He does not have to be Dan Marino in his prime. He doesn't have to be 26-year-old Aaron Rodgers. All he has to be is solid. That's all he has to be. If Aaron Rodgers, okay, and Aaron Rodgers on this football team, easily the New York Jets could have a top 15 offense. Just give us that. A top 15 offense, right? Easy peasy. You don't have to be the greatest. Just give us a top 15 offense with this defense as elite as it is, with added pieces like Hassan Reddick, you're telling me that the New York Jets can't make the playoffs or go to a Super Bowl with that? The Jets could have made the playoffs 2 years ago. They had a 6-game chance to make the playoffs towards the end of the season. The defense was so great. We were still in the playoff chase. 6 games left. I believe it was 2 years ago. 6 games. We win 1 game in the playoffs. We couldn't do it because our offense couldn't get it done. If we have Aaron Rodgers that year, the New York Jets make the playoffs easily. What is this man on? That is the question. I'm going to the lines because I've taken more than enough of a time here, and I'm trying to – we're going to go to the calls. I believe this is Ted. Okay, I don't have my sound bites tonight. Excuse me, but Ted, for those of y'all that don't know, is a savage. Okay, we're going to Ted. Ted – Savage! Hey, Ted.
Hey, Joe. Appreciate the few minutes tonight.
Give me your thoughts, man.
Yes, sir. Joe haters are going to hate Joe. It sounds a little bit of a lot of envy from Colin. I don't know. Just maybe he's trying to spew something. It's the slow part of the season, and there's no excuse, Joe. If you're going to hate on people, you might as well just find another take, because that'll just piss him off even more. Aaron's definitely gonna come in like, what are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's motivated enough now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's mind blowing to me, Ted. It's absolutely mind blowing, and that leads me to my next question for you, because there is a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers and him coming back. What are your expectations for Aaron Rodgers coming back off of that Achilles injury this upcoming season?
Joe, if we can protect Rodgers and we add it to that defense and we have a decent draft, the AFC East is definitely in play and beyond. As long as the health is there and we can, Aaron can be, like you said, a top 15 player, or we have a top 15 offense, probably a top 5 defense. I don't want to overreach my expectations, but I could say the AFC East should be ours. We're healthy. And maybe we can make a run.
No.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm right there. Listen, I'm right there with you. I absolutely think that we can make a run here as well. Now, that leads me to my next question for you, Ted. We're looking at the draft, man. We got the draft coming up. I believe it's on the 25th. It's towards the end of April, and things are really starting to ramp up. And everyone knows that I'm a big offensive line guy, especially with Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, where they're at, and the looks of our offensive line. But there's been a lot of discussion with various Jets fans that I've had that have talked about the New York Jets potentially taking a wide receiver if they're there. And as that starts to get louder and louder and louder, I start to think to myself, if my top guys are gone, Talisi Fuaga, if Olu is gone, if Alt is gone, those are 3 of the top guys I'm looking at. We're sitting there at 10, and a guy like Rome Odunze is there. The thought starts to creep in. Would you take him? And again, tonight I'm playing devil's advocate, so I'm giving the other side of the argument here, and I want to get your thoughts on it, man. If there is a wide receiver there that you covet, would you be willing to take that wide receiver in the first round?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, tell me why.
I would say, Joe, I don't know if Odunze is going to be there. Let me say this about the linemen, though. I think once you get off the top 1 or 2 linemen, I think that a lot of these guys are going to be kind of at the same level. So, the next 5 or 6 linemen are going to be close to each other, maybe grading purposes. So I could see if we have a partner, we can trade down to like Indianapolis Colts or even Philly and get a second rounder and maybe take the lineman there, and then the second rounder can be the receiver, or reversed. Or we can take the receiver as we trade down, have the second rounder and trade back into the first rounder for one of these linemen. So there's a lot of ways to go. And I have to say this about Brock Bowers, though. That guy's just sick. I mean, I watched a lot of Georgia games and, the big games. So he's just – they couldn't cover him in the SEC. I mean, nobody could tackle him. I would say nobody could tackle him, but he was a total mismatch. Yards after the catch, hands. blocking. He used to block down on the line of scrimmage. He's a weapon, Joe, but it's going to be a tough 1 of 10. If we could slide down a little and maybe pick up a second rounder and still get Bowers, that's another option.
So when you're talking
we have
about
so many options, though.
Yeah, we do. So when you're talking about sliding down, it's a very, very interesting, topic and discussion there as well. And I'm willing to go there. How far would you be willing to slide down, and what kind of compensation would you be looking for if you're trying to move down?
Yep. So, like I said, the Colts are at 15. They would owe us a second rounder, and the Eagles would owe us a second rounder to slide to 20, like 22.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted Bowers. They could come up.
So you'd be willing to go down to 22? I just want to be clear.
Only if these guys grade out are on the same grade. Like the guy from Washington, Fatanu. You got some of these guys, the center from Oregon, the kid, what's his name, from Georgia.
Mims. You're talking about Mims. Mims is the tackle from Georgia that you're talking about.
Yes.
And I think the center that you're talking about, I believe Powers, I think his name is. Are you talking about the center
Powers
from Oregon,
Johnson.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Talk to me.
Powers Johnson. Yeah. So I'm like to me, if they're all grading at around the same level, you can just go down to whatever you think you're going to get one of those. Your 2 or 3 guys that you target.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to see how it plays out and see. You have to analyze what the other teams want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a couple of teams that need corners. They may come up for the number 1 corner or the number 2 pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Joe?
Yeah.
And some of these teams that really need a corner, there's some good corners, in the draft.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you're talking. There's some thoughts. I don't know if I would move down to 22. It would depend on the compensation, but I'll tell you what. Like you said, there's some people that are also screaming about grabbing that second rounder, getting that back, and maybe trying to package that to get back late into the first round, or maybe just sticking in the second round and being able to take another guy. But man, I'm telling you, that wide receiver position, when you look at that situation, it starts to get very interesting, especially when you look at the situation with Mike Williams. How early can he get back? So I'm trying to look at it from the other perspective. Not saying I'm necessarily pushed off of the idea of grabbing an offensive lineman at 10 because it's there, but I'm looking at it from the other side thinking, man, pairing somebody, especially a young wide receiver, with Garrett Wilson for years to come. We know that Mike Williams is a 1-year deal as well. Who knows, what the future is looking like with him. But Garrett Wilson, more than likely is going to be here for the rest of his career the way it's looking. I got to get re-signed immediately. But, things are looking really good there. So before I let you go, and again, we'll get to the lines, 973. I'll come to you in just a second. I want to get your thoughts on this defense, Ted. What do you believe is the weakness of the defense at this point?
I think we need a run stopper, Joe. We need a big body in the middle. I would love to get the guy from Michigan. His dad played for the Jets. He was a nose tackle. Forgot his name. I think it was number 99. I forgot. But he might be a second rounder. We need a run stopper. We got kind of exposed in the run game. I think when we lost a couple players this year.
Okay.
Safety possibly, Joe, and eventually DJ Mosley. He's getting a little older. Maybe we have to just get a linebacker in there. We had Cashman.
Yeah.
And ironically, when Cashman went to Houston, he never had an injury. He actually got an extension. Every time that guy played for us, he got hurt. Seriously.
You're talking facts. He actually is playing pretty well there. He's playing pretty well there.
Yeah.
But with
hey,
us,
Joe,
he's
let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Joe,
yeah.
If we got a second rounder, would you come up for like Michael Penix or anybody like that?
I wouldn't come up for the QB, but I would come up and take an offensive lineman, another one. If there was somebody there, either I would take an offensive lineman or I would look to come up and take one of the wide receivers that's still there in the first, if they were there. A wide receiver that I would covet.
If you sat in the second round and say you got a wide receiver, say your third rounder, right? Say you have a third rounder and a 2 third rounders. Would you, and you like the quarterback, would you be willing to move up if you got your tackle and your wide receiver for a quarterback in the second round?
I wouldn't move up because, I mean, at this point, like we all know that I wouldn't move up because we got the backup quarterback, and I think we need something that has to produce now. I know the Jets fans want a quarterback. I understand it. I get it. Okay, we all know that to this point, Zach Wilson is not the guy. To this point, okay, for those of you that are just like, I'm not bashing Zach Wilson. I'm saying to this point, he's not the guy. But at this point, man, I'm looking to get something in here, especially when you look at the needs along our offensive line. We have to grab something today, right? We have to get that short up.
Yep.
Offensive line depth is critical. I'm talking critical. So we must get that done. But
Yes, sir.
Ted, I got to slide off. Next time I have a show, I want to
Yes,
hear
sir.
from you. Hopefully Blog Talk is not tripping then.
All right, Joe. I won't text I won't text your number this week. I'll delete it. Don't worry. All right. Have a good one, Joe.
Have a good one. Listen, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it rolling again. Okay. For those of you that may not know, this is not normally how I do my show. All right. We usually have Blog Talk, but I don't know. The English lady, she was tripping. She shut me down. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it was too many savages. She got tired of it. Okay. But she definitely let your boy be known. Okay. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Hold on a second. We're keep getting to these lines. All right. We're going to go. We're going to get to these lines. Trust me. Okay. Hold on. All right. 973-973. We're coming directly to you. How are you feeling tonight? Give me your thoughts.
I feel back 100%, Joe. This your boy Brick City, man.
Hey, listen, Brick City, savage. Listen here, Brick, okay? We're sitting here right now. We're talking draft. We're talking about a lot of things, but I want to start with you, man. I want to talk to you about this Jets defense quickly, okay? When you look at
is that if I say something real quick? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
Joe.
go ahead.
It's been on my heart for the last 5 days. I was sick. Whoever said get well, Brick, in the comments from last Friday's show, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I don't know if you know you, but God bless you and your family. Thank you very much.
That's what I'm talking about.
I just want to get that out the way.
Thank you. Listen.
Gotta do it for the Jet fans. We're all family, you know.
Listen, salutes and respect to all of the savages. Again, keep putting your thoughts in the comments or in the chat there. I will come to y'all. It's just your boy is moving and shaking tonight. We got a new system here that I'm utilizing, okay, to get these calls in. And callers, keep calling in. Just hold on a second as we cycle through these calls because y'all know it's one-on-one. I don't have my cue tonight. So just please be patient with your boy. I'm going to get to everybody, okay? Now, listen, we're talking, Brick, and we're talking about this Jets defense, man. I'm looking and I'm saying we got Hassan Riddick, right?
Oh,
we got some things moving and shaking, right? What do you think is the weakness of the New York Jets defense at this point, man?
We right now, safety and especially the run defense.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the caller because I was going to say that, but shout out to the previous caller. Shout out to him.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about Chris Jenkins Jr. I'm like, well, that would be a lovely full circle moment as Jet fans.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jenkins was a savage. He was a dog. He was a beast. And his son reminds me of that. And we got nastiness on the defense. Don't get me wrong, we got dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wish we could have kept Bryce Huff because he's younger than Hassan Riddick.
Yep.
But we lost a young pup and we got a veteran dog who's still in his prime. And this could be that Von Miller move that how Denver, how the Bills got, Von Miller and their defense went over the top to a championship level. We already got a championship level defense, but adding another dog in the building, a veteran, another leader, a leader of men is great. And I heard about, I'm a fan of this guy from Carolina. I hate Philly, but even I got to respect it. Double-digit sacks for the last 5 years, 11, 10, 17, 12, or something
16,
like that.
I think it was 16 in 2022 and 11 in 2020. Like you said, he has double-digit sacks for the last 4 years, 2-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro as well recently. So, yeah, go ahead.
Good luck, offensive coordinators trying to pick who you're going to block on Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays. Good luck.
Yeah.
Because we got dogs in the building. That opens up for Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, big dog in the middle, Quentin. Like now we added, you go for JFM. How can I forget JFM? And now we added Hassan Riddick. Oh, my. We just need run defense, safety. This is a championship defense now. Right now. We just got to take care of the opposite side of the ball. And middle finger to that guy, Cowher, whatever.
Whoa,
I
whoa.
said middle finger. I ain't cursed.
Oh, okay,
I ain't
okay.
cursed.
Hold on. No,
I
I
said
want you.
middle finger.
Yeah, listen, hold on before we get to Cowherd, because I definitely want to talk about him with you quickly. But hold on a second. Now, going back to what you were talking about, this defense is phenomenal, right? We lost Bryce Huff, and we did gain Hassan Riddick, which I thought, again, I hated losing Huff, but bringing Hassan into the building was phenomenal. But my question starts to be, man, Will McDonald, right? A lot of people were going, oh, well, the move of Hassan Riddick was about making sure that you cover up, Will McDonald, because the Jets don't believe in him or have faith in him. Do you believe that that's why they immediately snatched up Hassan Riddick, or what do you think is going to happen with Will McDonald at this point now? I want to get your thoughts. Will
McDonald didn't have a bust year. I think he had 2 sacks, but his pressures as a rookie was very elite. He just didn't finish the play. That's all it is. Sometimes he might get taken out by the tackle, or he might, slip and fall, because he has been slipping and falling a lot this past season. Now, I've been noticing that. So he just got to clean up some of his mechanics and things like that, bulk up a little bit. He'll be fine. Yeah. I don't think Joe Douglas would have picked him up in the first round and we don't have faith in him. That's garbage. The kid knows how to play. He has an elite spin move. He's got to add to his repertoire. The kid looks hungry. Every time he was out there, he didn't give up on a play. He was in the backfield. He just needs to clean some of his mechanics. That's all it is. The kid is a beast. Just give it some time. I liked him in Iowa State. Fans, relax. I know that sounds familiar, but relax.
Yeah.
Relax. Take a chill pill.
Yeah.
Relax. This season we're gonna punch a lot of people in the mouth this season. Watch.
Yeah. Now talking about this upcoming season and people needing to relax, Colin Cowherd, you kind of started to talk about it. He was talking crazy, man. He said,
that dude is a clown.
I just want to get your thoughts. I'm gonna let you go ahead, and get out of your way. But Colin Cowherd, what he said about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets aren't going to make the playoffs. They aren't going to win more than 9 games. He, basically said that Aaron Rodgers, doesn't watch film, doesn't study hard. He's kind of just, I don't know how he's became a Hall of Famer, but he's kind of just became a Hall of Famer just off of his physical gifts. I mean, give me your thoughts on what he said about Aaron Rodgers, Brick City.
He's trying to get us riled up. He knows us as fans, we're passionate, we're loud, we're boisterous. We'll attack like I said, it's Jet fans. We're not fans. We're not fanatics. This is a family. That's why we're the best fan base in the NFL. We care deeply about this organization. We feel like we are part of it. We feel that. Yeah. And we've been yearning for victory for, 5 decades? That's what, 2 generations, 3 generations past?
Yeah.
It's our just due. This dude is a clown. It doesn't matter if Aaron Rodgers would have went to Miami. This dude always got something to say, but especially it's New York. We're the underdogs. Everybody's laughing at us. Ha ha. Aaron Rodgers got hurt 4 plays in. Ha ha. Y'all stuck with Zach Wilson. Ha ha. Your offensive line is trash. Ha ha. Salah don't know what he's doing. Ha ha. Woody Johnson is hanging out with Sexy Red. Okay. We hear you. That's why you didn't make it at ESPN, because you're a clown.
Ooh.
That's why you're on Fox. Nobody watches Fox because you're a clown.
Ooh.
Your numbers is not even up there with Skip Bayless, and he's a bigger clown.
Wow.
Colin,
Okay.
I know you're not going to hear this, but I hope you hear this. I speak for all of my family members, ancestors of the past. I speak for the Curtis Martins of the world, the Willie Joes of the world, the Sack Exchange. I speak for the Rex Ryan era. I speak for the Herm Edwards era. Heck, I speak for Adam Gase era. I don't care. We're fans. You can't hurt us. When we holding that Lombardi this February, you're going to eat the biggest crow in your life. We're going to give the biggest middle finger to not just to you, but to the world. To the world.
No.
Aaron Rodgers don't study film. You sound like a dummy.
Yeah.
A real dummy. And I'm trying not to curse when I'm getting passionate, because I think I missed out Friday, and I've been like and I just feel like this dude is really like not in there under my skin, but I'm tired of talking about mayonnaise, Manish Mehta. That's what he is. He's mayonnaise Manish Meta.
Okay. Listen, Brick. Before I let
Clown.
you go, because you've given us some takes. My last question for you. Let's say Alt, Olufasanu, and Fuaga, they're gone, man. And you got Rome Odun sitting right in your lap at 10. Okay, pause. Are you taking
No Diddy.
Yeah, no Diddy. Are you taking
Diddy.
wide receiver at 10, man?
If he's on the board, yes. If
Okay.
not, then I can see us trading down, recouping the pick. You never know with Joe Douglas, right? You never know. He's been our GM for 6 years, and we still don't know what he's going to do in the draft. He surprises every year. So yes, I can say knowing Joe Douglas, he's going to take the best player available at 10. But then again, knowing Joe Douglas, he might get out that 10 spot to a team that's very desperate. We pretty much rob them, and we coop his picks and go to the Super Bowl. I mean, yes, we need weapons. We need offensive line. We need to stay healthy. Woody Johnson changed the turf. You know, all Jet fans around the world, in the United States, Canada, Mexico, around the world. Let's unite as one.
Yeah.
Let our voice be heard. Let's not curse this man out. Let's not be disrespectful. Let's not do none of that. Let's not be ignorant. Everybody, let's let our voice be heard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Change the hashtag. Change the turf. Let's get that trending. You know, let's get that trending right now. Hashtag change the turf at MetLife.
Listen, Brick.
You know, I'm passionate about this team, Joe.
Listen, I hear it. I hear it in you. Listen, thank you for calling in tonight. I got to slide off because the lines aside, I got to get to everybody. Next time I have a
Peace,
show, Brick City,
everybody.
I want to hear
Love.
from you.
Friday, you're having a show, right?
I'm going to try.
It's WrestleMania weekend. I might pop in.
Okay. I'm going to try. I'm going to let y'all know for sure, though. We'll see because next week is kind of crazy. But hopefully Blog Talk is even working at this point because that English lady is just destroying my vibe. But salutes and respect to you, Brick City. You have yourself a good one, all right, my friend?
You too. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Listen, we're going to keep going to these lines again. Keep calling in 5-1. Oh, excuse me. Jeez, Louise. Okay. 805-885-0467. That's the number, okay? We're going to get to our next line.
Call from.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on one second, folks. We're going to get to you. I believe this is Rusty. Rusty, can you hear me? Salutes and respect to you. If you can, give me your thoughts, man. Colin Cowherd talking crazy about Aaron Rodgers. Blog Talk is on the fritz. What are your thoughts, man?
Oh, that coward. Man, it's not Cowherd. He's Colin Cowherd. Coward. He's beyond clown, bro. I've never liked that idiot anyway. And whoever called him last time, he's on the money with it too. And the funny thing is too, the guy couldn't even hang on Fox. He's already 86th out of there too, and his podcast is bombing. So that's good. Guy's an idiot.
Man,
his ship is sinking beyond. He can't even pump out enough water. It's good. He deserves it.
Listen, Cowherd.
Freaking moron.
Listen, Cowherd. the Savages are letting you have it tonight, and I'm all here for it because this is. You know, when you talk crazy like this and the hate is constantly coming, as a Jets fan, we all know that the media can't stand the New York Jets. It doesn't matter what we do. They'll always find a way for us to be wrong or idiots or, clowns or something like that. They'll always find a way to dump on our situation. And look, it
ain't easy being green, Joe.
Yeah, and I'm perfectly okay with I'm perfectly okay with being the sounding board for the Jets fan base. Just don't curse. That's all I ask. But go ahead and say what you got to say at the end of the day. So as we continue on and we talk about, Aaron Rodgers, right? Cowherd running his mouth as I was listening to the nonsense. I was thinking to myself, one of the things that I want to know from Jets fans are what are your expectations for Aaron Rodgers coming back next season? He's going to be 40 years old, coming off of the Achilles injury. What are you expecting from him next season, man?
We better get to the bowl. Like I'm not that type of guy or cat that's like
talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Playoffs. No. I've seen playoffs. I've seen AFC championships, and I've seen them all go down the freaking toilet. And yeah, I came close to cursing right there. So that's why you guys got
Oh,
toilet.
yeah.
So
Okay.
toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry, I got myself. I'm not gonna let myself go on you. But it's it's to that point where it's Super Bowls, and not just like one. Like I'm talking a couple. You at least need a couple. You need to trade back in the draft. It's like, I think he's probably, God willing, just like, Woody better start ripping that horrendous turf up off out of there and start getting some, Real Madrid grass or something like that. It's not just for freaking FIFA. Like it's past ridiculous, and he's got plenty of coin, and it's to that point. Like it's just mind blowing how he could just go there and be like, oh yeah, well we can't do it. It's like, oh really? So how come we have the worst stadium, whatever, if you even want to call what we play in the stadium at this point? It's just an empty air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
But and you have two owners in there where if at worst you can put the money together and do it. Like, how come people aren't dropping like freaking flies and ending careers over in LA?
Yeah.
The Chargers and the Rams are doing it.
Yeah.
So that's a zero excuse.
Yeah.
And they don't have regular grass. They have that horrible turf stuff, but at least their horrible turf isn't terrible.
Yeah, and what blows my mind about this situation too, especially Aaron Rodgers coming back from the Achilles and the situation in our stadium. But then you look at some of the other guys we have coming back as well. Mike Williams, who's coming off of an ACL injury.
AVT, Achilles brother too.
Yep. Then you got
courtesy of our field,
Tyron Smith as well coming over. So with a long extensive injury history. So I would hope that at some point they're going to change to grass, but I mean, everyone knows my feeling about MetLife, and everybody knows how how I feel about the stadium. But they've got to get some things shifted. But again, going back to Aaron Rodgers, I'm really hoping next year, and I know that there's a lot of, and that's why I said talk that talk, because I've spoken to a lot of Jets fans just like yourself, saying it's Super Bowl or bust. Okay, and I'm here to listen to everybody. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to listen. And there's been a lot of Jets fans screaming, Super Bowl or bust, Joe. Super Bowl or bust. I don't give a crap about what happens, what's going on. Super Bowl or bust. And that's that. And it's like, man, those are big expectations. But again, we're in win now mode.
Super Bowls.
Yeah, you said Super Bowl. And I get it. Look, we got Aaron Rodgers here. We got Aaron Rodgers here. We got a phenomenal defense. It's like it's time to get to the winning, and I completely understand that. And that leads me to my next question for you, Rusty. You look at this situation, man, the draft is coming up, and I'm saying to myself, I've talked to a lot of Jets fans that are saying, Joe, it's time to get a weapon. It's time to get another weapon for this offense. It's time to address the wide receiver position. If some of the linemen that you covet are gone and you're sitting at 10 and Rome Oduz is right there for the taking, would you be upset if the New York Jets were to draft a wide receiver at 10, Rusty? Give me your thoughts.
I'd absolutely be furious. I'd be
Why?
furious if we
Why?
got a
Let me
wide
know.
receiver at 10. I'd be furious if we got one of those Bowers boys or whatever that new clique is that people are starting to originate. Oh yeah, I'd be cherry hot fire red. And it's because we have to build our wall. Like we were just naming, like we have the walking wounded on, the offensive line where it's spread thin. And on top of that, we have a field that we have to deal with that is just a career ender. So, and what I wanted, my linemen are still going to be available in that first and second rounds. And I pray that we can somehow, some way trade back 2 times within the first and grab a guy or two and then keep it going.
Okay, hold on right there. Hold on, because I want to explore that with you, because I've had people come at me and say, hey, I want to trade down. You're saying trade down twice. I need you to break down.
Absolutely.
I need you to break down what is the furthest you're willing to go down, and what exactly are you picking up in these trade scenarios?
Furthest I'd probably go down is I'd want to get right ahead of like the Packers, at the ones. So what is that, 25? So probably with, I don't know, around 22 or something like that.
Yes, 25
would be what I would hold at. So I would probably. I'd want to trade with either the Broncos. Well, they don't even have a number 2, but they do have that spot. then they do have a third. So I would trade with either the Broncos or the Raiders, move back that way, and then somebody else wants to come up and go for a little swim in a fish, I'd trade with them, and the farthest I would go back is around 22, just ahead of Green Bay, and just start stacking those picks. And God willing, if there was one of the other linemen that we wanted, we could double dip inside the first round and get it late. So we could get, you know, a Graham Barton, who's unbelievable.
Who are you taking in the first round then? If you and I don't mean to stop cut in there, but if you're moving down to 22, right? You're saying you're going to trade down twice, okay? But what are you getting at 22 then? Because a lot of the guys, that we're talking about, right? I think again, Fasanu would be long gone. Fuaga, I think, is long gone. Of course, Alt and you know, those guys are long gone. So it's like, okay, well, who are you grabbing at 22 that's going to come in if you're in love with offensive linemen?
I'm not even a Fuaga fan. I mean, you know, you can't take away from what the kid did, but I do watch college football, and same with you, and especially you're watching the Pac-12. So
fight on.
I'm a huge freaking component, and a guy who's severely underrated is Jordan Morgan. He's at over 2,400 snaps. He bodies Latau, or whatever his name is, the kid that's going to be one of the top edges, if not the top edge, from UCLA in the first. And he made him hold his pocket for the past 3 seasons. And
Latu,
Jordan Morgan, he's what, 3-time second-team All-American, while doing it hurt too, and he came back from injuries during the season. First-team All-Pac-12 for consistent years, played over 2,400 snaps. Guy's gone against the crazy, like, you know, over there in the Pac-12, that's what they do have. They have, you know, dynamic edge rushers. They really do. It's not only SEC and my big Pac-10 with the Ohio State. Go Buckeyes.
Oh, Lord.
Welcome to our club shortly, Joe, and you're going to get blessed. It's okay.
Oh, Lord.
We won't hold your hand, but I won't rip on you too badly.
Oh, Lord.
But,
I thought it was over, but the Ohio State boys find their way, don't they? I thought it was over, but they're back again. They're back again. Go ahead, Rusty. Lord.
It's our country. It's our big, you know, it's our Big Ten. That's what we are.
Oh, Lord.
We are the Ohio State. It's all good, fam.
All right.
You'll understand.
All right.
And
fight on.
but that's who I want is, you know, the Jordan Morgan, and I would love to double dip inside the first round in those trade backs and get Jordan Morgan and Graham Barton. And then hopefully in the second or something like that, pick up BB and then go shop for our cute weapons and get like a Leggett or a Walker from UNC, or, you know, later on McCaffrey. And, you know, because like you said too, we're going to need a fatty up the middle.
Yeah.
So if McKinley's around there, then we need a safety. So of course, like in Bishop and stuff. So all of a sudden now we're, you know, everything's falling through our hands, and that draft is getting real thin real quick.
Yeah.
So where I think even what's his name, Justin Rogers, that mammoth of a kid from Auburn, I think he's going to surprisingly go, you know, probably in like the 5th, where they're projecting him to be in the 7th. He might even go into the 4th. He's
listen,
you have to double team that kid.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking, especially as the draft continues to come our way. Rusty, this has been phenomenal. Before I let you go, my final question, because we got to get back to these lines. They're hot.
I feel you.
I'm looking at the situation, man. Justin Hardy, for those of you that may not know, Justin Hardy signed with the Browns today. And there's a lot of Jets fans that are upset, man. They were hoping to bring back Justin Hardy. They're saying that this is a hit to our special teams. What are your thoughts about the Jets losing him and him ending up going to the Browns?
That's definitely a hit, and especially too with the new kickoffs returns. Like, oh man, and he was clutch too on punting. So he was one of those awesome, missiles down the sideline, just doing whatever he has to do. The guy's got crazy IQ for special teams also, like especially special teams.
Yeah,
and it's just it's a shot. It's a shot to the heart in a way. And now who knows, those Mr. Irrelevant picks and the ones, what are we, 255 and 256, the last two of the draft. Now,
I think
like this.
I think we're. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but just let people know we're one player away, I believe, from gaining a comp pick in the 4th round. So that's just to let you know. Yeah, I believe we're
Oh, thank
we're
goodness.
one guy away. So we'll see whether Carl Lawson goes somewhere. I think they were talking about Mekhi Becton. If he ends up somewhere too, we could end up getting some compensation. But go ahead,
Well,
Rusty.
hopefully we get something from Kansas City too for that tampering nonsense that's somehow getting swept under the rug with Hartman.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. At least we got, Philly gave us their version of it with
Mhm.
giving us that gift of Reddick.
Yeah. Okay.
But oh yeah, we man, we got a lot of, even though it looks promising, which it absolutely does for us, we got some holes to fill to where we can't afford, honestly, to go shopping in the first round on weapons that are cute.
Mhm.
Hate to put it that way, but
Yeah.
we need those big fatties. We need the wall.
Mhm.
Wall is most important
Yeah.
right now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Listen,
that's how I
Rusty.
feel, because I want to see multiple Super Bowls, not one.
Yeah. Listen,
I've
Rusty.
waited we've all waited long enough.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal speaking to you. I gotta slide off. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right, my friend.
Same here, fam. Salute to you and salute to the fellow Savages. Let's go, Jets.
Absolutely. Let's go. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. Caller that just called in, you can call on back. I'm taking calls, okay? I apologize. Listen, I'm working with what I got. Please stick with your boy. Listen, no matter where you're watching me from, give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel as well. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. All right? Also, share the content, share the stream across your social media with your friends and your family. And again, salutes to everybody that listens to me from overseas. Got a lot of overseas listeners, and I respect them. Okay, I absolutely respect them. Okay, and I'm always kind of blown away. We're gonna get to the lines. We got another call. Hold on, just a second. We're gonna see what's
Call
up here.
from
Yeah, we're gonna see what's up here. We're gonna see what this caller has to say. Salutes and respect to you, my friend. We are talking that talk tonight, okay? We're going back and forth. We're having discussions about the Jets and what's happening. Colin Cowherd earlier speaking about Aaron Rodgers had quite a bit to say. Give me your thoughts about Colin Cowherd believing that the Jets, even with Aaron Rodgers healthy, won't win more than 9 games and that we'll miss the playoffs. What are your thoughts?
Salute, Joe. Salute to all the
Oh,
savages.
listen, hold on. For those of y'all that do not know, I didn't know. Again, your boy is Blog Talk is on the fritz. This is Val. Val, for those of y'all that may not know, is a savage, okay? And the circus has started, okay? It has started. For those of you that may not know, the circus has begun. Val, give me your thoughts.
Oh, man. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, man. Listen, we're back to square one, when everybody is hating on the Jets, man. I think last year was more of a, everybody was praising us of our off season and everything. We're still getting the praise and everything like that, but, we're kind of getting back to that, little of the underrated. I feel like that's probably best for us and stuff, getting a little bit of hate so we can prove people wrong, type of scenario. But I will say, I kind of agree with the Tom Brady-ish thing that he did say, like, the obsession of winning Super Bowls and stuff. I don't really hear that too much from, Aaron Rodgers as much as I want to, but I know he ultimately wants to get to the Super Bowl. But I feel like Tom Brady had that more obsession of trying to get the championships and stuff like that. But
he has
like
said that,
said,
though.
Man, Aaron,
he has spoken about Aaron Rodgers absolutely has spoken about winning Super Bowls, though, Val. He talked about it in the introductory press conference. He was like, I want to put another trophy next to Lombardi, the empty or the single one that's in there. I want another trophy next to that one. When he was sitting in front of all that media on his opening press conference with the Jets.
Yeah, the opening press conference of last year. Yeah, most definitely. But I'm just saying, like, as in terms of, like, the obsession of trying to get to the Super Bowl and everything. But I will say, just like how you were saying that, he came in as a true leader. You know what I'm saying? He actually tried to get to know the players, took some offensive line out. He took multiple people out and stuff. If you watch Hard Knocks, he definitely did the same thing as well, too. Not just for show. He actually did it, and just like how you were saying too, and he's saying that, oh yeah, he's burnt out and stuff. I totally disagree with that, because like you were saying as well too, he was trying to come back. We was hoping he didn't come back, because if it was meaningless games, there's no point of him coming back and stuff. But he was trying his best. He even came here even when we was going through ridicules with, Zach Wilson, of course, choking it up and playing terrible, he was trying to come for his aid and trying to get the locker room together and stuff because, it was going to a turmoil and everything like that. So, you can't completely take out Aaron Rodgers and stuff like that. I'm not the biggest fan, but listen, he's on my team, so I have to ride with him and stuff like that. But I have to respect his game. He's a Hall of Famer, you know what I'm saying? But I still think he has stuff to prove as well too, because a lot of people say he was a little off. That the last time he did play was about 2 years ago and stuff like that. That he was falling off. But listen, we would take that type of Aaron Rodgers any day, over the quarterback play that we have been seeing and stuff. But he has a lot to prove as well too, and I feel like he's gonna come with a drive. And boy, he got some weapons. He has some weapons to deal with. And man, I just can't wait for him to get it on the field and stuff. But yeah, Colin, he's terrible. I don't even listen to him. I don't even, that's why just like how everybody said, that's exactly why he's not on ESPN. I don't take him or anything he says for word, at all. So him and Nick Wrong too. Nick Wrong is the worst. So everybody over there is just trash. Man.
Oh man.
Listen, absolutely.
I let the Savages. Speak their mind.
Not making the playoffs with this team? Are you serious?
That's where I was going next.
Double team on that defensive line. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's where I was going next because I was shocked you haven't spoke about the fact that he said that the Jets are not going to make the playoffs with this team if Aaron Rodgers is fully healthy. It's mind blowing.
Wow. Listen, man. How can you get eat any better, man? Listen, I wanted to call in last time. I was so busy last week and stuff with situations, but man, we got Hassan Reddick. Have you noticed? You didn't hear the Dion, what is his name? Dion Dawkins from the offensive line of the Buffalo Bills when he was out there. Oh yeah, if you a Jets player, I don't want you no more. You don't hear that no more. You don't hear him talking about that no more. He's been very silent since. Because we got to deal with Hassan Reddick, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens, JFM. Man. Pick your poison. Who are you going to double team? Quentin Williams. Yeah. And you notice he always says, you know what, I don't like nobody on that team, but I will say I respect Quentin Williams because he knows he has to see Quentin Williams. Now you got to see Hassan Reddick, Jermaine Johnson. He's ascending. Oh, I forgot Will McDonald as well, too, looking like Dwight Freeman. Oh, man, listen. It's going to be on, man. Yeah. I'm just so excited about that. Listen, Joe Douglas, listen, I was definitely rooting for you to get out of here and stuff like that, but hey, you headed into that line that forgiveness. You're headed into that line. You're headed into the right direction, JD.
He's redeemed himself, huh? He's redeemed himself in your eyes, huh?
He's kind of not yet, but he's there. He's there.
For those of y'all that don't know or don't remember, Val was screaming for Joe Douglas to get fired all offseason, along with Robert Saleh. He wanted both of them gone. I'm just saying. I'm not, it was some trying times. Okay. I remember I was getting, thrown around here. People were like, oh no, get him out of here. Look, I respect it. But, Joe Douglas has made some moves. And you were talking about Hassan Reddick. We didn't get to talk to you last week, like you said, man. I want to get your thoughts on the acquisition of Hassan, bringing him into the building. For a lot of Jets fans, right, that I spoke with, some of them feel like him being brought in here is more about Will McDonald not being prepared or not being the guy. Some people are saying that they believe that the Jets went out and grabbed Hassan Reddick because they don't believe that Will McDonald's going to be able to take that next step this upcoming season. I personally don't believe that. I think it's more about winning. I think it's more about understanding that pass rush rules the world when it comes to the NFL as far as defense, because we're in a passing league. But what are your thoughts about this, Val? Are you along the same mindset as other Jets fans that believe that the Jets did this because they're not necessarily sold on Will McDonald?
No, let's put this in perspective. I totally disagree with that as well, too. I agree with you as well, too. But I will say, listen, Chiefs, Ravens, they bulked up this season. You know, like they got Lamar Jackson,
Yes, they did.
and King Henry. I'm sorry, we had a huge question mark, and we've been talking about this for 2 weeks. Me and Joe and everybody else in the chat. I'm like, listen, man, we just got rid of Huff. This Huff, man, that Huff situation was very concerning because I'm just like, what are we gonna do? Now Joe D just made this huge trade. Now we don't have to rush Will McDonald to say if he is or not the guy. But I do believe, from what I've seen in the preseason, he's definitely that guy. But we don't know if he's gonna ascend to that person that's gonna be, like how you were saying, a double digit sack. If he's
Yeah.
gonna be in that market and stuff like that.
Yep.
So now he doesn't have to have that pressure of being in there. Now we actually have a guy that he even said, because I watched the press conference on Reddit, he was saying that, listen, I'm going to teach him everything I know. I'm going to mentor him, try to get him into, his mindset and basically in approaching the game, teach him some techniques and stuff. That's what you want. You want somebody that actually gets double digits and stuff like that and gets there in a consistent level, always hitting the quarterbacks. Man, listen, this man is a nightmare. And I'm glad that nightmare is on our team,
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm just happy about the situation, and I just feel like this is only going to help Will McDonald and even take less pressure off of him and stuff like that, as he is a young player. Jermaine Johnson, he kind of had to learn on his own, and he definitely took that challenge and ran with it, because man, he took a huge step that second season, because he wasn't getting no how can I say, the rookie of the week and stuff like that.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yep.
Really getting that much.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
Breece Hall, it was Sauce Gardner, it was
Yep.
Garrett Wilson. Everybody was getting. He was just on the sideline and just not getting too much of a play or anything. It was a very quiet rookie season, and everybody was questioning him.
Yep.
But man, did he take? He took a huge step that second season, and man, huge fan.
Yeah. No, listen, and that
Yep.
that was one of the things that I said as well to people. I said, listen, everybody just is all over Will McDonald, just ready to call him a bust and all these things. I mean, dude, during the preseason, does anybody remember during that preseason, he was showing up and showing out, and that was against starting offensive linemen. That preseason run where Bryce Huff was doing his thing, we were all excited. Like, Will McDonald was a big part of that as well. Now, again, he was played sparingly during the season, but when he did get his time, there were times we saw a lot of things. But like you said, I remember Jermaine Johnson's rookie year wasn't like phenomenal, and he had missed games as well because of some injuries, right? We remember that. I think it was like 4 games or something like that he missed in his rookie year. And I remember the offseason, he was talking about how he was disappointed in year 1, but next year he is going to show up and show out. He's getting ready for anybody that tried to disrespect him. I remember that going into this past season. He was talking about that. And look at this year, he's a Pro Bowler, right? Looked great, looked phenomenal.
Exactly.
We're excited about him going forward. So I want people to kind of slow down, just trying to, jump all over Will McDonald at this point.
The bus statement on people and stuff like that. Let them develop under their system. Let them get a full off season as a professional. Let them get their the adjustment of being a pro and stuff. You can't just like automatically tell them that, oh yeah, you're a bust after 1 season, and they didn't even really play like that, because again, you're not really playing that much because you're new, for one, and number 2, you're new to a system as well too. And then on number 3, like it was loaded, so you're not going to get that much playing time, and you're not going to get a rhythm. So now that he's he's one of the focus now he's going to actually get that chance to actually get there and play some some football and get some minutes out there and some snaps.
I cannot wait, man. Let me tell you, because
I can't wait either.
Boy, Hassan Brick, that 3-headed monster, it is going to be wild. But now
who are you gonna double team?
For real, and that's why I'm telling you. I think this year, Will McDonald, he really has an opportunity to feast, because at this point, it's like, okay, we know that they want to double team Quinnen Williams. You don't want him just okay, cool, double team him. Hassan Riddick.
That's who they've been double teaming.
Yeah,
exactly.
You want to double? Okay, you want to try to shade towards Hassan Riddick? All right, cool. That leaves Will McDonald 1-on-1, and now it's just like, bro, go ahead, eat. You know what I'm saying? Win your matchup and eat on a weekly basis.
Exactly.
Like, it's gonna be wild, man. It's gonna
exactly.
be
And
wild.
one more thing about Will McDonald. If you watch the Hard Knocks, I don't know if everybody watched Hard Knocks, but man, you have Pro Bowlers and people that was on the offensive line. Like, man, you're cold, man.
Yeah.
Where did you come from?
Yeah.
From Hawaiian State? Like, wow, I didn't think there was actually dogs over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just like, man, this man was really good. He was actually, like, Jermaine Johnson was like, man, this man is actually good. Like, you know, he was getting to the quarterbacks and stuff like that. Look at that Panthers game in the preseason. Even though it's the preseason, I understand.
Yeah.
But man, that man had some techniques, and the way how he was getting to his spin was ridiculous. Now you have somebody that's been in the elite talks and stuff like that, and Hassan Reddick. He's only going to get better. This is only going to make him even more better because it's going to make him even more hungrier, and we'll learn more techniques from Hassan Reddick. So this is only going to help Will McDonald a lot more, and Jermaine Johnson as well too.
Yeah. No, there. Listen, you're talking that talk now. As we continue to talk about this team, right? Man, we got to talk about this draft. It's coming up, man. I've been going back and forth with a lot of people, Val, and everyone knows I've been pro offensive line. I'm all about getting linemen in here. But I've had discussions about this wide receiver situation, and I want to give you this topic and this question, man. If the New York Jets were to take a wide receiver at 10, would you be upset?
Honestly, no. I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be disappointed. I'm just scared to death about freaking taking a tight end because I don't even really know who this tight end is. And not to
you talk about Bowers
topic. Yeah, Bowers. I'm scared. I don't know.
Why? What scares you about Bowers? I want to know.
Because the thing is, taking a tight end for that, like, because I feel like we need to address this offensive tackle situation. I'm with you on this. We need to address that offensive tackle situation just in case, somebody's missing, and we're gonna allow on the backup, offensive tackle. At least we will have a young, ascending, first round draft pick. I would say in the draft that is definitely did something in college that I could say, yeah, we're still good even if this man Tyrod Smith is out. Hopefully not. You know what I'm saying? But we would have that insurance just in case. But taking a tight end, I don't think that's a huge need for us because. For number one, we don't utilize the tight end position like that. I know it's different because we're going to have an actual quarterback in there, which is Aaron Rodgers. But I don't think we utilize the tight end position as much as people think it is, and we need as much weapons. For what I would say is we would need probably an offensive tackle for one, or we could go wide receiver. Those are the two, to be honest with you. But I just don't know because you know how like they overhyped one player, like how they overhyped Zach Wilson, and then we fell for it, and then we got egg on our face at the end of the day, you know, and not taking Justin Fields as it was so simple to take a person that played in the big games and shows you time after time. I'm just like, man, how do you get that wrong? But we got overhyped over one player. So that's why I'm scared.
Listen.
That's why I'm scared to death.
Listen, I hear you.
But he might be good.
Look, I'm not. I'll tell you what. I think that Brock Bowers is phenomenal, and I think he'll be a good player. I'm just tight end. I look at it like you said as well. Some of the things that you spoke on. I mean, I really like Jeremy Ruckert. I think that he's special. I just think that again, the game planning, his usage, I think was suspect at times. He showed us that he could be a really good blocker, but he wasn't utilized enough.
Exactly.
You know, in the receiving aspect of his game. And again, the Jets offense, I think, is completely different with Aaron Rodgers at the helm of it. I mean, if you look at Conklin was really good last year, really good. And I mean, he was literally playing with poop at quarterback. Like he was, his quarterback stuff, his quarterback situation was all over the place, but he was catching footballs left and right. He had over 600 yards. And this was with like poop quarterback play. So it's like, can you imagine what he would have with Aaron Rodgers? So I get the Bowers talk. I get it. And I'm here. And again, I'm listening to everybody, but I cannot see us. I don't think that we should take Bowers at 10, especially when you have such need as along the offensive line. But then again, when you look at our wide receiver situation, and that's why I want to entertain that discussion because Garrett Wilson is phenomenal, but he's kind of the only thing, you know, at the wide receiver position to this
for
point where
sure.
we're like, yeah, that's kind of our linchpin. Mike Williams, who I love Mike Williams, he's coming off an ACL. He's not going to be ready until week 1. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Alan Lazard, who, good Lord, Alan Lazard, he's got a year and a half left here. I mean, Robert Saleh said that himself.
Right.
So, and then after that, you got, you know, Xavier Gibson, undrafted guy, Brownlee, undrafted guy. I mean, Xavier Gibson gave us some pop in, you know, the special teams part, but can you really rely on him as a go-to, you know, wide receiver? We don't know. You know, we're hoping that year 2. So it's like taking a wide receiver, it wouldn't shock me, especially if you have a guy like Rome Odunze there. I mean, at this point, it wouldn't be something I would go for number 1, but it wouldn't stun me. It really wouldn't stun me, especially if somebody, you know, slides down out of that situation. So, yeah, listen, I hear you, Val. My final question before I let you go, man, because we've been talking. Justin Hardy, man, signs with the Browns today. All right, Jet special teamer. We all know he's done some work here for us. Give me your thoughts about that situation, man. What are your thoughts about him now being a Brown? What do you think this does to our special teams, man?
Man, listen, he was a huge impact. I will say he was definitely one of the captains because he always wore that C on his chest and stuff like that. And he was definitely like one of the leaders, especially for that special teams. Because man, they was mostly on the field majority of the time. So you know, we seen him a lot. Unfortunately, because we couldn't score no touchdowns, so we was always punting the ball. So you know, he definitely got a lot of burn on this team and stuff. So he definitely held it down the games that he did play. And I will say, you know, it just sucks. You can't pay everybody because at the end of the day, we have to probably extend DJ Reed. We have Michael Carter that's coming up as well, too, that needs to get paid because, again, even though, you know, we haven't talked about Michael Carter at all, but he's been a lifesaver for us. Like, if you remember the busted screen days, how many penalties and everything like that, you haven't heard anything about Michael Carter. He actually been doing his job really good, so he deserves a payday. So at the end of the day, you can't pay everybody. So I understand the business side of things and stuff, but we have to take that risk if you really, you know, if you want to make sure you get as much pieces that are very important here. And unfortunately, you know, he had to go and stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, he was also really great for us. You know, he definitely held us down, especially as special teams. Like I said, he was out there all the time. So yeah, much respect to him, and hopefully well for his career as he keep it continuing.
Yeah. Listen, Val, I gotta slide off. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right, my friend.
Absolutely, man. And Blog Talk, listen, man. I know you took a sick day off. I don't know what's going on. You know, sometimes you be having these days and stuff. So, you know, I guess this is the backup one, and shout out to the backups. But, you know, I guess I don't have to worry about the defamation of the end of the show because it's a different situation now. So, you know, hey, we get a day off, you know. All right, salute, Joe. I'm out of here.
Listen. Hopefully Blog Talk works for the next show. Who knows? Okay. But it's never defamation. Okay. It is never defamation. Everything I tell y'all about Val is the truth. Okay. Again, the number to call into the show is 805-885-0467. It is at the top. It is pinned to the top of the chat. Okay. That's the number for tonight. Blog Talk is tripping. Okay. For those of you that I missed, I may call y'all back. I just got to make sure that that's going to go through again. We're using a different, using a different system tonight. Let me go to the Savages in the chat because I do come to y'all for those of you that do not know. And I do read comments. I'm one man, as y'all see tonight. I'm all over the place. I'm moving and shaking. Salutes to all the Savages in the chat. And again, please give the stream and the content a thumbs up and share it across your social media and subscribe if you haven't already. Salutes to Eric B. Thank you for subscribing, and all the new subscribers as well. Please keep getting the please keep joining what we do over here and being a Savage. So salutes to all of y'all. Salutes to Dakota J, man. He says, this is one of the most chill Jet streams. You're good to call in. Hey, listen, call in, man. Call in any time, all right? Anytime, okay? Please call in when you can. Salutes to you, Dakota J. Always good to see you in the building. Finance community, salute Savage. He says, I want a great offensive player in the draft, period. Yeah, listen, I hear you. All right. And I respect everybody, man. I respect everybody. That is just all about, hey, let's just get some, an offensive piece in here and let's make it happen. All right. And that's why I'm exploring this discussion tonight about the wide receiver position. Because, again, I've been very staunch on getting an offensive lineman. Okay. Very staunch and supportive of that and on that solely. But, there's some discussion to be had about that wide receiver position, to be had. Because, again, you look at the situation, Garrett Wilson, phenomenal. But do you want to end up in a situation last year or this year like you were last year, where it's just, hey, Garrett Wilson or nothing? Is that where you want to end up? I don't know. I don't know if that's where you want to end up. All right. So you got to wonder. All right. Sean Bennett, salutes to you. Sean Bennett says, I'd trade up. Okay. He says he would trade up for a top 3 wide receiver. If not, then I'd trade down, to 16 through 14 and grab Bowers still. He'd grab another third, and then you'll have 2 thirds to work with, and then he'd grab an offensive tackle and a wide receiver. Okay. So he's a Bowers boy. Okay. If he wants to trade up. I don't know about trading up, man. Trading up is going to cost you. All right. Especially when you look at the run-on quarterbacks, a lot of people going to be paying a pretty penny to move up. There's been a lot of discussions about Chicago moving around, all kind of things moving and shaking. But, I don't think you'd have to, move up there. There's a possibility that Rome could be there at 10. I don't know. We'll see, okay? Because Chicago is thirsty, but Chicago also needs some work. And they've been talking about offensive line help as well. There's been a discussion there to be had. But I don't know, man. Bowers, man, it's tough for me to see. And I think he's going to be a good player. I'm not disrespecting him at all. I think he's going to be solid. But I really like Ruckert. I really like what we have here at tight end. And I'm just looking at that wide receiver position, and I'm saying, man, we've got to get somebody to pair with Garrett Wilson if we can, if we're not taking an offensive lineman, because offensive line to me is paramount. That is number 1. But I'm here to entertain and hear the discussion. I may start calling people back that I missed out on earlier. I think we're going to try to call North Carolina back in just a second. So North Carolina, if you're listening, I see you there, and I missed you. We're going to try to get back to you really quickly. So, we're looking at this situation, man, and, we're seeing what's moving and shaking. Let's see if we can get old North Carolina back here. Let's see if we missed him earlier. Let's see if we can get him back into the building here. So,
yes, hello.
Yes, listen, salutes and respect to you. It's Long Beach Joe. I saw you call earlier. We were moving and shaking around. This is my guy from North Carolina. I want to know if you want to talk some Jets with us. I know we missed you earlier. You want to give us a little bit of your time to talk some Jets, my friend?
Sure. I'm glad you hit me up. I said I wasn't sure how I would be able to get through.
Yeah.
With your new calling line.
Yeah, it's been Blog Talk is on the fritz, but here we are, right? So we're sitting here, and again, salutes and respect to you. For those of you that do not know, this man from North Carolina is a savage. Okay, he talks that talk. All right. Now we're sitting here and we're talking, and there's been a lot of discussion about the NFL draft, right, and where the New York Jets are sitting currently at this point. I've been really, really tough on taking offensive linemen, but I've had discussions recently with a lot of people that have been all about taking wide receivers, right? Getting a weapon, getting something to pair with Garrett Wilson. And I want to get your thoughts on this situation. If Rome Odunze is there at 10, okay, you're the Jets general manager, would you take him?
It's something to be considered. Jules is a good wideout. He's a top 3 rated wide receiver in this current draft class. I say, why not? But I'm kind of conflicted. One side wants to get another weapon because I'm thinking one more weapon could really make the Jets offense very dangerous. But at the same time, I recognize that we need to upgrade our offensive line for the future. Now, Joe Douglas did an excellent job of putting our starting unit together, and I think we're going to be fine in terms of our starting five, but also we need an insurance policy against injury. You know, it's been pretty rough the last few years. Our injuries have decimated the Jets' offensive line with Barrett Tucker and Mekhi Becton. So,
yeah,
you know, it's been kind of a tough decision for me. If I was general manager, it would probably come down to the last 10 minutes on the clock before I make that decision, you know, before it's my time up to make my selection and get on the clock and stuff. But
it's interesting,
you know.
Yeah, no, it's interesting what you're saying, right? And so that leads me to this question. Let's do this. I'm looking at the scenario, right?
Yeah.
Let's say Alt, he's gone. Fuaga, he's gone. Olu, he's gone. And you're sitting at 10.
Yeah.
Then what are you doing? What are you doing then, right? Romo Dunes is there. O'Dunes is there at 10.
Yeah.
Your top 3 offensive linemen are gone. What are you doing? Are you taking O'Dunes, or are you taking someone else, or are you moving down? What would you do then?
I'll try to see if I can move down. I'm hoping there'll be at least a couple of teams that want to come up to pick 10. Pick 10 has value, I would think, you know, but I'm kind of thinking that the quarterbacks are going to go early. I'm thinking that 3 were going to go in the top 5. And then I hear a report that potentially 4 quarterbacks can go in the top 5. I think would be unprecedented. I've been watching the draft about 30 or so years. I don't recall ever 4 quarterbacks going within the first 5 picks, you know?
There's been talk there. There's been talks. Caleb Williams, Jalen, from Williams to Daniels to May. There's been talks that McCarthy is coming up too. I mean, it is wild. But continue on. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you're just fine. But I'm glad you intervened. I've always enjoyed your perspective. Yeah, I'm thinking. But we'll find out soon if it's true. And if 4 quarterbacks go, then that could create a dilemma for us, because what I'm banking on is one of the 4 will flip to us at 10, and there'll be a team that really wants to come up to the 10th pick, you know, to get one of those quarterbacks. But it's going to be interesting to see as far as the draft stock on some of these top-tier prospects, how it rises and how it falls. And we'll know soon within, the next 3 weeks before the NFL draft, since we're entering April?
Yeah, it's like I think it's like in like the 25th or 26th or something like that. Yeah, so we're like a couple of weeks away.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll know more, because everybody's talking about the quarterback class. But what's to say? Let's say a team may want to come up for Brock Bowers. I know his stock has risen significantly.
Yeah.
And obviously the price might be a little lower because he's not a quarterback. Maybe we might have to settle on a 3rd-round pick, especially if we don't move that far down. But I've heard some proposals out there from various jet platforms about moving into the 20s to pick up a 2nd-round pick. But I'm thinking if I'm going to move back into the 20s, a team's going to have to give me more than just a 2nd-round pick. I'm thinking a 2 and some kind of mid-round pick, maybe if not a 4th, certainly a 5th.
Okay.
Something like that, or a future pick, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, listen, there's been, and I've had this discussion with people as well, moving down, and a lot of people have been talking about moving down into the 20s, and I've entertained that idea, but then I start to think, okay,
yeah,
if we're moving down into the 20s, then who are you targeting at that point? And that's what I want to ask you. Who would you be looking to grab then? Because a lot of
I think the board is certainly
the board is and I'm not, again, there's still some solid players there. Don't get it confused. Like, I'm not saying that for those of you that are going to try to DM me later. Okay, I'm not saying that the players. I get these wild DMs, but I'm not saying that the players are bad there. I'm just saying that, you know, a lot of the guys that we've been speaking about, you know, your Fuagas, your Fasanus, the guys that, hey, we can come in there and plug them in day one in case something happens, right? Okay, we can push him and thrust him in there. You start to wonder, okay, well, what are you looking at then? Are you going wide receiver there? Is there another player? What are you doing? Because, you know, guys like Guyton, again, we're talking O-line, just spitballing and throwing it out there. Guyton's probably going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Morgan is probably going to. Mims is probably going to be there. You know, there's so many other guys. Mitchell from Texas is probably going to be. Like, there's a lot of names swirling around that 20s, and so I want to get your thoughts and say, hey, well, who are you targeting if you're moving down into the 20s, and where exactly in the 20s are you willing to go?
It's something to be considered to select one of those guys, but I think out of that next group, I'm not so sure if, let's say, something happens to our starting left tackle, if any of those guys will be ready to slide up in there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like Latham would be. We're more secure with Latham and Fawaza. Those guys, I think, are more pro-ready, don't you think?
Mm.
And Ulu Vassan are more pro-ready to slide up in there if something does happen. Let's say week 15 or whatever, you know, our tackle has to miss a week or two, and those guys can slide a couple of weeks, and those guys probably can slide up in there and be ready.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll feel pretty good about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to that next group, like Guyton and Mims, I think they have a high ceiling from the projection I heard months ago. I've been researching those guys. The ceiling is high, but they're raw.
Yeah.
They're going to need a little time. They're not going to be ready to go in there right away.
Mm-hmm.
They could get exposed if you rush them and just put them in there, you know, in a rookie campaign where they need time to kind of fall back, you know, do the weight work on their technique, you know, get with the coaches and try to correct some things. It takes a little time. I wouldn't feel very comfortable with those guys unless Bakhtiari is ready. I don't know what the reports are on him. If he's ready to slide in there and willing to come to us just to be with Aaron, you know, because they have that relationship, come there and be our backup tackle, then as a plan, I would feel more comfortable with that. And then I could go ahead and draft Guyton, Tyler Guyton, or Mims, as you suggested. And I think that would be a more solid plan, don't you think? You had a veteran backup.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Morgan is also a guy I think that a lot of people aren't talking about that could be a guy that you could, you know, also possibly lean on if they were to go down. But that starts to – something that you just said really triggered something as well in my brain when you're talking about offensive linemen, and just in case Tyron goes down and, you know, them being groomed and being put in positions to where they get better. How much of a role does Keith Carter also play? You know, him being here, be the offensive line coach. A lot of people question him. How much of a factor does that play into you wanting to get as close to the finished product as possible when you talk about offensive linemen in the draft? Because this is a guy, right, that there's been discussions about from other, you know, various other offensive linemen that have spent time when he was there with the Titans, to even Mekhi Becton came out and talked about how much they don't like him, and how much, like, you know, there's been so many things swirling. So you got to wonder, like, okay, do I want to move down and take a guy that may need some real coaching, you know, definitely got to get coached up, got to get better, or do I want to get as close to a starter or finished product as possible? Because you got this guy, Keith Carter, who isn't necessarily the best coach, right? And we've heard that from multiple players. You know, you got to, like, I'm starting to think about that as a fan right now, just sitting back going, okay, well, Keith Carter's my offensive line coach. Can I trust that he'll get Mims ready? Can I trust that?
Yeah.
Can I trust?
You bringing that up is an excellent point. From what I've heard, the reports is Keith Carter isn't a very, very good coach, or may not be an easy person to work with. I know Mekhi and them didn't like him. So that speaks a lot when players are not able, like any job, you're not able to work or feel comfortable around those people. Something about their personality or their disposition that's not easy to be around, and it makes a difference, especially with young guy that may need a little bit more development, more hands-on work. You're right. You're right. It's complicated. You know, if we do decide to trade down, that's why I'm kind of thinking stay within the top 5, and we could certainly have a shot to get one of these tackles, even if it's Troy Fontenot, who's a guy I'm really in favor of, and I'm moving closer to him. Looking at him as my number 1 tackle, because, you know, we decide to move down a couple of slots. Fontenot, from what I'm hearing, can play tackle, guard. And I've heard some comparisons to Elijah Vera Tucker, when he's a very good. I've seen some film on him. He's very good. He is a very good offensive lineman. He's strong, and he's very good, and he's versatile. Which should be the rule from now on with this organization. If you're going to draft an offensive lineman, he must be able to play more than one position, like Tippmann and Vera Tucker, notably. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the way our offensive line has looked, you definitely got to be able to move and shake and get in there if we need you.
That's right.
It sucks, but that's been that's been what's been going on around here. Guys getting hurt and going down. Hopefully, that stops this upcoming season. But as we continue to talk, we continue to talk about this situation, in the draft and what's been going on here. I'm looking around and I'm saying to myself, man, the Jets have a lot of things going on, right? We've acquired a lot of guys. We've handled the situation, right? What are your thoughts about this third-round pick that we got, man? Let's say, because you're big on offensive line, you're taking offensive linemen in that first round. What are you doing in the third, man?
Third round, or we may have to try to package that third and see if we can jump into that second. I'm thinking if we can crack the top 15 in that second round, package that third, maybe a future pick, try to see if we can get back in there. I'm thinking Xavier Worthy, Jabari Thrash, and Roman Wilson. That's kind of like my top three. There may be some others out there that I'm unaware of, but those are really fast and excellent wide receivers. So I'm thinking about that as a top three beyond that first round, trying to get back into that second round. If I have to package that third, I don't know. I hear rumors about potential trades of players. If we could package something and try to get back into that second round, maybe in the top 15, get in there, we might get lucky and get one of those three guys. I think if we can get one of those three, it's excellent. Excellent. Those are excellent wide receivers. I've seen Thrash and Worthy and Roman Wilson, and I'm very impressed with them. They're very quick, fast, explosive type of wide receivers, and I think would be wonderful additions, to the Jets receiving core working with Aaron. So that's where I'm at. Beyond that first round, I talk about that third round pick. That's the gap, from 10 to 72? That's a long wait, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a long wait. That's why I'm hoping we could trade down, work some kind of deal and get moved down, even if it's for a third round pick. Because you can package that third and you can figure it out. Joe Douglas, he's a genius. He'll package it and even takes a player or something to get back into that second like he did last year, remember?
Yep.
That's where he got Joe Tippmann. And hit a home run on that pick. So don't put it past him to figure it out, a way to get back into the second round. Because Wilson, Thrash, and Worthy are the top three guys in my mind. One of them might go late in the first, but I'm thinking two of those guys might be around going into somewhere into that second round. So it's going to be interesting to see how the board falls and what happens.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be very interesting. Now, as we continue to talk about this football team, man, because you got some great takes.
Yeah.
Colin Cowherd, I don't know if you heard it earlier. I played a little piece from his podcast, and he said with a healthy Aaron Rodgers that the Jets won't win more than 9 games, that they're not going to make the playoffs. And he also talked about, from his point of view, that Aaron Rodgers isn't a guy that's going to watch film. He's not going to study as hard as your Drew Brees is and all these, these other great quarterbacks. And he basically just kind of said that Aaron Rodgers has gotten to where he's at basically off of physical talent, that, his body hasn't aged well, so then he's no longer going to be as great as he's been in the past. I mean, what are your thoughts about those comments by Colin Cowherd?
He's wrong about Aaron. Aaron is a very intuitive cat. There's something different about him. And I think as he's aging, his body might be slowing down, but he's going to more than compensate from the neck up. That's what we need. We don't need that running around. We did that with 2 straight quarterbacks, with Darnold and Zach notably, and it didn't work out. The game of quarterback is played 90% mental, 10% physical. It's from the neck up. That's why I love Chad Pennington. Chad Pennington didn't have the physical compared to quarterbacks of his era, but mentally processing, ball fake, he was outstanding. He was excellent. And I'm confident in Aaron. As long as he's able to stand upright, he's healthy on that Achilles tendon, and he's got time, he's going to light those defenses up. He's wrong, Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd, first of all, he's bad for sports journalism. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I used to listen to The Fan.
Go ahead.
And you had the Mike Francescos, and I've disagreed with Mike, but I respect Mike Francesco because he knows his sport. He knows what he's talking about. I respect Mike. But the rest of these guys, like Colin Cowherd, Skip Bayless, these guys are more shock and jock or wannabe shock jock sports commentators, and I don't think that's necessarily good. We want people that bring balance, that bring objectivity, that bring an interesting perspective to sports, which is what I try to do when I call into your line. I'm not going to say I'm on my A game every time I call, you know what I'm saying?
Good,
but
you're good. Go ahead. Yeah,
you know, I
good.
try to bring a uniqueness, and I've taken what I've brought to your platform has been well thought out. Something I thought out weeks prior to speaking to you, and I said I'm gonna bring this to Joe next time we talk. You know, so I strongly disagree. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I think he's just at this point just for the shock value of it, just to get a response from the fans. You know, he's like poking the bear, but he doesn't realize it's more than just us. You know, the Jets players might get wind of this stuff, and I can imagine opposing teams on our schedule are kind of waving their hands, saying, "Shut up, don't provoke them. Shut up, man. Stop talking. You're gonna make our job harder." You know. And our new edge rusher, Asim, he's right. Teams just do not know what's going to hit them.
Yeah.
The Jets are going to be just ferocious, man. They're going to be ferocious. Aaron is going to bounce back strong. Look for that.
Yeah.
I mean, our biggest concern I have with Aaron is probably shaking off a little bit of rust, because I think that's historic for his career. I don't think he's ever missed that extended amount of time. I'm just concerned about rust early, you know, getting off to a little bit of a slow start. And the defense, you know, kind of had to step up, hold it down until Aaron can, you know, get comfortable, get his rhythm, and, you know, get that first win on his belt. Then he can exhale and relax. And then from the rest of that, you know, then he'll have a chance to get that momentum. And, you know, the rest will be history, knowing Aaron and just, you know, in terms of what he's done over the course of his career. I expect no different, you know, with us.
Yeah.
Physically, he may have, like I said before, he may have slowed down, but mentally, I believe this cat probably is sharper than he's ever been from a mental standpoint, from a pure football standpoint. He still knows how to read defenses. He's going to make the right decisions. He's light years beyond Darnold or Zach. You know, these kids were still trying to learn and understand what they were watching. Aaron knows exactly where to go with football. He's going to have a really good supporting cast, maybe better than anything he had in Green Bay. And that's saying something. Though Green Bay teams, they had some pretty good teams. When he went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl, his last Super Bowl appearance, you know, pretty talented. So I think Coward is wrong.
Yeah.
I want to call him a clown, but clowns, you know, when I think of clowns, they bring joy and happiness to the family. You know, you go to the circus, you take your kids, and you laugh and think about their experience, and you talk about it for years. A clown brings happiness and joy.
Yeah.
Colin Cowherd just an irritant at this point. You know, like you just irritate the heck out of people and just, you know, annoying.
Yeah.
I think between him and Skip Bayless, I don't know who's worse, him or Bayless.
Man.
You know.
I tell you, Colin Cowherd's takes on the Jets, and again, I like Colin Cowherd. I know some people don't. I definitely, you know, listen to his I've definitely listened to his program. I'm not, you know, but his takes on the Jets have always been very rough. Especially, I remember he was one of the guys leading the charge about Adam Gase basically revolution and coming in to save the Jets, and I could not believe that he was saying that nonsense, but we saw what happened with that situation. But I'm blown away. Even when he was talking about, you know, Aaron Rodgers and having to run and what happens if, you know, the offensive line, it's like, bro, what happens if any good quarterback's offensive line, you know, is struggling? Look what happened to Joe Burrow when his offensive line is struggling. He didn't look like the same Joe Burrow.
He sure got hurt last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
What about in the Super Bowl when Patrick Mahomes' offensive line was struggling to block the Bucs? What happened then? Oh, he looked very normal. He didn't look like the typical Patrick Mahomes, right? Like that's what happens when your offensive line is struggling to block. Any quarterback is going to struggle in those situations, or, you know, so it's just mind-blowing. I didn't understand it, especially, again, if he's fully healthy, how did the Jets only win 9 games with the defense that we have that was shutting things down? How do we not make the playoffs? We were in that situation 2 years ago with Zach Wilson and Mike White, who was broken up at the time. It got his ribs jacked up, and we still could have went to the playoffs with 6 games left in the season. We just couldn't win one because we had Zach Wilson. So it's like, come on, man. That's just nonsense.
Yeah.
So,
but I'll say this.
Go ahead.
I'll say this. I think with Colin Cowherd, it's a personal agenda, something going on with he and Aaron. And I think he's kind of personalized with Aaron. At least I say this about Bayless. Bayless, I think, just likes to go against the grain. If everybody says this player is the greatest of all time, Bayless is going to try to contradict that, just to go against the grain. Say, no, this guy has flaws. Look, he lost that playoff game in '92, and I think he's a little different. Colin Cowherd, I think, is more agenda driven. I think it's something else with Cowherd.
Yeah.
It's something different about this cat.
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't like Aaron. I think he's taking it to a personal level, but I'm hoping Aaron will just take it and use it, which he will. And I got to believe the Jets will. The Jets players will as well. They're going to get his back.
Yeah.
And they're going to really show out. They're going to be I'm looking forward to the first game. I don't think his official schedule has been released, has it?
No, I don't. Not like a week by week. I haven't seen it yet. So.
Okay, yeah. Eventually, it will be very soon, and we'll know more about our opponents.
Absolutely.
I'm probably less concerned this year about the schedule than I've been in past years, because I know the caliber of team that Joe Douglas is trying to assemble here, and what he's done in free agency has been nothing short of extraordinary.
Yep.
Rebuilding the offensive line within a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he might have problems acquiring the tackle Tyrone Smith. I thought he might have a problem securing that deal, and somehow he got that deal done. And we hadn't heard any word or anything on any negotiations or anything. It's like all of a sudden, around midnight, you'll wake up in the middle of the night or wake up the next morning, all of a sudden hear a news flash, and you're on YouTube like I am, 'cause I do a lot of computer work, a lot of Chromebook.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I see stuff flashing, either you will be posting or Jet Central, and something like the Jets acquired time. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah. It's,
and
it's crazy.
It's like a kid on Christmas. That's how it's been. He'll surprise you, say, no, put it back. And then you'll wake up the next morning and toys on the bed. He's like, what? You got it?
Yeah.
It's wow.
And what's great, it started up slow, too. There was a lot of people, Joe Douglas is not going to do this. He's not going to do that. And he found a way. Because, again, I was doing shows.
He did.
There were people that wanted him up out of here. He's not moving fast enough. He's not doing this.
Yeah.
And, I had my questions. Michael Winu, I was hoping he would be a Jet. He ended up back with the Patriots. Huff being gone, but then he slowly just assembled, and he's put together some good moves. I'll give him that, but they've got to perform and they've got to go out there and get it done this upcoming season. My final question, my friend, before I let you go, because the time is just flying. Justin Hardy signed with the Browns. Jets end up missing out on him. Right, he's gone. Give me your thoughts about what this does to the Jets special teams, and are you upset about this?
Yeah, it's quite a loss, losing a player of his caliber and what his contributions have been to the Jets special teams. They're going to have to figure it out. We have plenty of time, at least, to figure it out who's going to be the gunners and who's going to, represent the Jets special teams unit. You think about Ashton Davis. He's still drifting around out there. I know he wants to start. Interesting enough, to our credit, we've done a good job, developing the Ashton Davis. It took him a few years to get his feet up under him. What was my other man? Bryce Hall.
Yep.
Notably, and some of those guys are trying to look for starting opportunities elsewhere. I'm very happy for them, and I wish those guys the best of luck. It would be nice to get Ashton back, because I know he was a special teams contributor. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Ashton, I know that there's been a lot of talk about him, and there was a report or a rumor going around that the Jets were, kind of whatever with him. I wouldn't mind bringing Ashton Davis back. I don't think he's going to get big money. But when you look at that safety position, man, I'm hoping Justin Simmons, to this point, I believe is still out there. He's the guy I'd be interested in, maybe a Quadre Diggs, something like that. But yeah, I would definitely, I'm not against bringing Ashton Davis back. But I don't think he's going to get a monster deal. And of course we got, Chuck Clark back in, to the fold. So I like that, getting him re-signed. And then of course, we still got Tony Adams. So I think our safety position, it needs a little bit more work. But, there's some guys out there that we can grab. But one thing I do not, and I just want to I do not want to see Ashton Davis as a starter. I don't want to see him here as a starter. I have no problem bringing him back, as a depth safety.
Chuck Clark back healthy, I was anticipating maybe we can get him re-signed, and they did the right thing early in free agency to get that deal secured. So he's back. He got hurt last year and early. It's a shame. And so he's going to be looking at recovery and could be about comeback player of the year candidate for next year. So we were counting on big things from Chuck Clark. Very talented safety, very reliable. And I don't think Ashton Davis will be a starting safety for us. He's going to be more reserve or rotational guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's something to be as worried about, you know.
Yeah.
But Simmons, you mentioned Simmons. We may have to pivot toward him to try to fill in our special teams unit. So I'm anticipating that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Again, he's one of the best guys that's still out there. But, you know, the contract is a situation, but he's still available.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I'm
That's
sure
right.
that number's getting lower and lower, and we'll see if hopefully the Jets can work something out with him. If they can't, then, you know, the draft is an option. Okay, the draft is definitely an option. But again,
that's right.
Justin Hardy, you know, that's going to hurt a little bit. We definitely got to figure it out. But
oh, yeah, definitely.
Listen, I have got to slide off because I got to get up out of here. Thank you for answering the phone. I called you right back immediately.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you hitting me back. I know you got the new call-in lines. It's going to be very difficult for me to reach you because you don't have the cubicle system to kind of tuck me away and keep me on hold anymore, so it's going to be hard.
Well, no. Hopefully, it just didn't work this week because Blog Talk is on the fritz. But hopefully, it'll be back next week and the queue system, and I'll be able to, you know. But if not, then we'll continue to roll with this until they fix that or figure it out. But I want to keep my queue system because I like, you know, making sure everybody's ready to go and tucked away. But thank you again for coming back on. You have yourself a good night, my friend.
And you too, take care, and thank you for hitting me back. I really appreciate it. This made my night.
Absolutely. You have yourself a good one. Thank you. Listen. What a show, okay? I got to get up out of here, all right? Okay. Blog Talk didn't hate on me tonight, okay? Again, thank y'all for sticking with your boy through this situation. You know, we got to make adjustments, man. We got to make adjustments, baby. Salutes to GVH. He asked a great question. I want to answer this before we start to wind down and end the show here. He says, speaking of catching weapons, as a USC fan, and you know that I am, Trojan, fight on, okay? As a USC fan, you want the Jets to get Rice. What round do you project him in? Does he make it to the third? That's a darn good question, GVH. That's why I like you, man. That's why I like you. Brendan Rice, all right? He's a good wide receiver. I do think he'll probably be there in the mid to late second, maybe early third, okay? Know there's been a lot of talk about him. Again, big body guy, 6'2", good set of hands. He's a good player. He doesn't have, like, barn-burning speed. That's one of the knocks on him, I think, that a lot of people are going to have. But that doesn't matter when you can run routes. He's a pretty darn good route runner, right? Like, he's pretty solid there. Of course, he can get better, right? Just like every, wide receiver could get better. But he's pretty solid, you know? And any corner that thinks he's, just gonna, be able to deal with this guy, you're gonna have your hands full. Now, he does kind of struggle a little bit getting off the press, but as he gets into the league and he gets bigger, coach starts working, man, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be really, really fine. And he can catch. I'm talking about out the wazoo. He can catch, man. And he can go up and get it. You throw that ball up, and Brendan will go up and get that thing, okay? A lot of people talking about, Mike Williams and the 50-50 stuff. Brendan can go up and get it. Trust me. So that's going to be big for him. I think he's going to be solid. I think he's going to be really solid. And everyone knows I love AVT, right? I love to see the Jets grab real football players, okay? Fight on from SC. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up a Jet. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I really like him. Really like him. Not just because he's from SC, but I really like him as a player. And I hope that hope the Jets do draft him. Because, again, I think he'll probably might be there in the third round. I think he might be there for us. So if he is there, I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets take him. I wouldn't be shocked. Because I'm telling you, with just a little bit of work, I think he can be serious business and the real deal. Big body guy can go up. You know what I'm saying? So salutes to you, GVH. Thank you for that question. We're going to go ahead and close out the show. Listen, subscribe if you haven't already. I want to salute and thank all the subscribers as well. Give the stream a thumbs up, please. It helps get the stream out there. Man, thank you guys for sticking with your boy through these adjustments, okay? Because Blog Talk was tripping, but I wanted to make sure that we got to y'all. So I got a little, backup to go to. All right. So, but we're gonna continue to roll. Hopefully, next show we'll get back to Blog Talk. Everything will be good. If not, then we'll be working with this backup situation. But I'm gonna continue to try to get y'all, get your thoughts and your opinions live. And again, for those of y'all that knew, I also come to the Savages in the chat as well. So don't be shy to put your thoughts in there. I love that y'all go back and forth and we have these amazing discussions. So listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. All right. Also, going over to Twitter, because that's where I'm at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Follow me, I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times. All right? At all times, I'll have that Vera Tucker jersey on. Okay? Fight on. I'm telling you, he's going to destroy people, man. He's going to destroy people next year when he comes back. Folks are going to be feeling the pain. Okay? Real talk. They're going to be feeling the pain. Okay? So come on by. I'm also on YouTube, as y'all can clearly see here. Okay? Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Okay? Wherever you're watching me from, come on over to YouTube, Long Beach Joe Jets. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so when I post content, you will be in the know. Get in those comments if you want to troll me. Go ahead, post your comments, and I'll troll you right back. Let's go back and forth. And as always, people, when you see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. I want to thank you folks for taking the time out of your day to listen, to call in, to be in the chat, the Savages, any way that you interact with your boy. All right. And again, I want to thank y'all for dealing with the backup system, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank y'all for all of that. Without you people, I'm not doing nothing. Thank you for taking the times out of your day to interact with your boy any way that you do. Until the next show, man. Y'all have a good one, man. Because we doing it big. All right. Now, for those of you that are new to the situation, okay, again, we do these shows, these radio shows year-round. Okay, year-round, we do these radio shows. All right. So again, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Normally, okay, when it's not jacked up, this number is the number to the show. Okay, when Blog Talk works. All right. Now, when the English lady isn't tripping on Blog Talk, we really have great discussions and everything, but if not, then, we do what we got to do. Now, on Blog Talk, okay, the lines open a little bit earlier. I start my show at about 7 p.m. Eastern. Generally, people call in at 6:55 p.m. Eastern or 6:50. All right, I'm not telling you who's doing it. It's Val and Rusty, okay? I'm not telling y'all who's doing that, but it is Val and Rusty, all right? I'm not saying anything crazy, all right? So, when we do have my shows normally, this is the number you call in, and we have a lot of fun, and we get to it, all right? The only thing I don't allow on my show is cursing. Don't call into my show cursing. I'll get you out of here. I'm talking fast. Don't do that. And the reason why that is this is a family show. I have old people, I have young people that listen to your boy. Can't have that here. This is also YouTube, okay? YouTube very sensitive. YouTube's very sensitive. I gotta, and I respect YouTube, and I love YouTube, okay? So I have to respect YouTube's sensitivity, all right? So just no cursing on my show. Other than that, I allow, everybody to come in and, state their case, state their takes, and I'll listen to it all. Y'all heard tonight. We talked about the wide receiver position. I've been vehemently against taking a wide receiver in the first round, but I said, you know what, this is a very interesting, topic to explore, and it could happen. It's not unrealistic at all, not in the slightest bit. So I want to talk about that, and so that's why I kind of played devil's advocate tonight and attacked the discussion or attacked the topic from that position. So Outlaw 24 says defamation of character. Rusty Spooner, both of them Savages in the chat, says all allegations, Joe, all hearsay. If Blog Talk worked, You two wouldn't get away with it. They wouldn't get away with this. If Blog Talk worked, both of you are lucky that Blog Talk doesn't work. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. Everything I say is true. Okay. Everything I say is true. So, yeah, we have a lot of fun here. Join up. Also, when you call in, please make sure you have a good phone. There are people that have called in and sound like they're in a wind tunnel. I'll get you up out of here. Okay. I need to be able to hear you. Okay. If I cannot hear you and we can't hear, clear sound from you, then what can I do? Also, make sure your background is clear of noise. People listen to me while they're, at their job. I love it. You know what I'm saying? You getting your money. You want to listen to your boy talk about the Jets. I want to have that discussion, right? But here's the deal. Okay. The background noise got to go. Okay. People call me on a jackhammer at the construction job. Put your jackhammer down. Go down the street. Okay. And talk to your boy. Then when you're done, go back and get on your jackhammer and make your cheese. I respect it. Okay. Background noise got to go. If my audience can't hear you, excuse me, and I can't hear you clearly, we can't have that discussion. Okay. We can't have that discussion. So please cut out the background noise. All right. So that's all that's required here. Oh, also, when Blog Talk works, okay, I have a queue system. I can physically see you. Okay. I can physically see you. All right. So when I bring people up, I call them by their name if I know them or by their area code. When Blog Talk works, please know your area code. Okay. Please know your area code. Because I've had discussions with people that thought I blocked them or thought that I didn't want to deal with them for whatever reason. And I sat down and had a discussion. It was a heated discussion with a person that did not know what their area code was. And it was eye-opening. That person literally said, well, I'm from here. I said, well, isn't this your area code? They said, I looked it up. I said, yes, if that's where you're from, this is the area code there. And the person said, oh, I said, listen, you need to know what your area code is. And they were like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I'll never say who it was. I told them, listen, I'm not going to, but don't run around telling people that I don't want to talk to you. I talk to everybody, even people that I talk to everybody. I'm just going to say that. There's nothing, a disagreement or a difference of opinions or what that. I want that. I want you to have a different opinion than mine. I want to hear you out. I want to have that discussion. Okay. But know what your area code is. Okay. Know what your area code is, please. All right. So we have fun and we do that. We also do live watch alongs where we will watch Outlaw. Come on. You know for a fact, I know the truth, okay? I know it's not cap. I know the truth. Rusty. Listen, we do live watch-alongs during the year when the Jets games come on, okay? So, when my schedule allows, we sit down, we watch the game together, and then directly after the game, we have a live radio show when Blog Talk works, okay? And those shows are hot. So I take live calls. We talk about whatever has gone on with the game and all that stuff. So, please come on by and join your boy when that's going on too. All right. You have a lot of fun. Sometimes it's painful though. This past season, pretty painful. Okay. Yeah. So we have a lot of fun doing this. Again, thank y'all for dealing with your boy going through this situation with Blog Talk. It's been nauseating. Okay. But we got the backup system in place so y'all can hear it. I can hear y'all and we'll have that. All right. And again, if I miss out on people, then I will try to contact you back and call y'all back. Cause that worked tonight as well. Okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out, but hopefully Blog Talk will be up and running, for the next show. I'll let y'all know when the next show is going to be. We'll see. Cause my schedule is really wild coming up. But again, if you subscribe, hit that notification bell and give the video a like. Okay. It's greatly appreciated. I forgot. Here's my link tree. The link tree has the links that's in the chat right now. It's also in the description of the video. It has the links to all of my social media and all of my YouTube pages. Please follow me across all of my social media and my YouTube pages. I put on there hours before I'm going live that I'm going live, so you will know. Okay, you will know. Trust me. And we get to it and we listen to everybody. So please, check your boy out and come on by and talk that talk with us. And again, we'll continue this throughout the rest of the year. We're going to be having shows. I do at least one show a week. I try to. Okay. We'll see because my schedule's wild coming up, but I try to do at least one show a week, but it changes. So please just get involved and keep in tune when I'm going live. Again, I let people know hours before. Rusty says, give this to Blog Talk, Joe. It's an Imodium. Man, Blog Talk, I'm telling you, I don't want to, y'all know the Savages bash Blog Talk enough. I bash them. But again, we got a backup system in place just in case. All right. So, yeah, we have a lot of fun here. Get involved with what we're doing. You might see me gaming from time to time. Come on in and check in with your boy when I'm doing that too, here on this channel when I can. So that's what we do here, man. We have a lot of fun. I got to get up out of here because I really got to go. My schedule's tight and I got to roll. But yeah, so I'll let y'all know when the next show is. Salutes to all of the Savage, man. Rusty, salutes as well to you. Outlaw. I'm not capping about anything I say about Val or Rusty. I'm not capping. Two Savages. I respect them. All of y'all are Savages. But and again, let me put this out there too for those of y'all. The reason why I say, hey, you can call in early is because it's completely legal to do that. It's not illegal. Okay. It's just a lot of savvy Savages found that out. I don't know how they found it out, but they found it out like years ago. All right. Cause I've been doing the show for, a little bit. They found out when I was doing the show that they could do that. And then there were people that just kept doing it. And I have no issues with it whatsoever. I love that. I love that. Hey, you want to have the conversation? Listen, everybody knows I come on. I talk for about 10 minutes tonight. Again, that interview that I had done with Antoine Staley, pre-recorded interview, we did that. It was like 20 minutes. Boom, I go straight to the line, straight to the callers. That's what I do, okay? Usually I come on, I talk for 10 minutes, I get straight to the line, straight to the callers, all right? Cover the topics, and I want to hear from y'all, okay? And again, we go to the chat too, so don't get it confused. Y'all on the Savages, y'all see, y'all right there. So, we have that. So, I interact with y'all as well. Hawkeye, salutes. Good to see you in the building as well. GVH, always good to see you as well in here, man. Salutes and respect to everybody, man, that came on by. Sean Bennett as well. Sean Bennett says, Long Beach Joe looked like he could play for our offensive line. Listen, man. All right. I'll be a thin left tackle. You know what I'm saying? I'm a smaller DeBrigashaw Ferguson. You know what I'm saying? I'm tall. I can, you know what I'm saying? I can block. I'm more of a, you know what I'm saying? I want to get on the edge, though. I'll be an edge rusher. You know what I'm saying? I'll be Hassan Riddick. You know what I mean? I'll be that. You know what I mean? Salutes, though. Salutes to you, Sean Bennett. Venom G's, always good to see you in the building. Salutes. Gregory Freeman, salutes and respect to you. Good to see you in here as well. Gregory says, the question is not the defense. It isn't. It isn't. The question is the offense, man. He also says, wasted pick on McDonald unless he becomes Huff. We'll see. We'll see. I think Will McDonald can shine this upcoming year. We will see, though. Salutes to you, Gregory Freeman. Always good to see you in the building. All right. Justin, salutes and respect to you as well. Italian Eddie, salutes. Michael, salutes. And again, anyone that was having issues calling in on the backup line, we'll figure that out going forward in case I'll figure out either I'll call you guys back or we'll figure that out, though. But again, we use the backup line tonight. And, some things we got to smooth out because I just saw some people saying, hey, I can't call in. And I got back to everybody I think I missed, okay? But we'll figure that out on the next show in case Blog Talk doesn't work, okay? If it doesn't, then we're gonna get back to the backup line because I want to hear from y'all, all right? But I apologize to anyone that couldn't get in. But again, we'll be having another show, and we're going to get to it. Finance community, salutes and respect to you as well. Dakota J, always good to see you in the building, man. Hope to hear from you, all right? Hope to hear from you, all right? Jeff Life, salutes to you as well. NY Jets FL, salutes to you too. Wild Wave, salutes. Michael Piper, salutes, man. Always good to see you in the building as well. Listen, salutes and respect to everybody, man. Outlaw, everybody that came on in and said what's up to your boy. Salutes and respect. And again, I want to thank everybody, that worked with your boy when you with the backup situation. You know what I mean? So Rusty says, Joe, salutes. I still have no idea what you're talking about. Just hating on Val and I because we're the Ohio State and rule the Big Ten. Oh, man. I got to deal with these Ohio State guys. All right, look. I'm not even, you know what I'm saying? People want to say defamation of character, and I'm hating. Look, if Blog Talk worked, y'all know what time it would be, man. Y'all know what time it would be. Outlaw says, do you think we're going to resign Hassan Riddick? I think we're going to try to work out something with him. It's going to be interesting, though, because he's a pass rusher, and he's really good. And you got to wonder what those numbers are going to look like, right? Especially when we got, Sauce, Jermaine Johnson, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. We got these guys coming up for a deal. You also paying Aaron Rodgers a lot of money. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. But I'm hoping we do, but it's going to be very interesting to see what his numbers are going to look like. This man was recently an All-Pro, and he's been to the Pro Bowl 2 years in a row, and he hasn't had less than double-digit sacks in the last 4. If you didn't want to pay Bryce Huff $17 million a season, baby, wait till you see what you're going to have to pay Hassan Riddick, okay? We'll see, though. Joe Douglas can work his magic here. We'll see. Maybe they use the franchise tag on him if he performs well this upcoming season. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping that they do, though. But I was hoping they'd bring back Bryce Huff, but we saw how that worked out. So I got to get out of here, folks. Listen, be safe, okay? Be safe, people. All right, sit down with your friends and your family. Eat some good food. Have a good meal. Watch some good TV with them, okay? And make those moments, man. Those moments that matter with the people that you love the most. And let the people that you love and care about know that you love and care about them. It's extremely important to me in my life, and I hope it's important to you in yours, okay? Until the next show, you folks have a good one.